Hey guys, how's everybody doing?
Doing well. It's day. I'm awake. I'm breathing.
Those are all very good things.
Yes. Those are currently things. That's about extent of it for me right now. My emotional range is about a teacup, so
at least you have that.
Yeah.
So Keen, how are you today, sir?
Doing good. Another wonderful day in the neighborhood.
Another day in the Destiny neighborhood.
Yeah, you never leave. It's like quicksand. Once you get in, you can't get out.
Right? Oh my goodness. I mean, I figure we'll get into that in a little bit. First off, everybody, King Koala has joined us again.
Hello.
If you didn't recognize the voice. Again. Yeah. We're surprised, just like you are. So, how's everything been, man? It's been a while since you've been on. I've seen life as... You got married recently, right?
I did. Yeah, I got married last August. We bought a house. We adopted another cat. I'm a pretty busy guy right now.
Nice.
Not to mention that, killing in the Crucible.
Well, I mean, that never changed, right?
No, not for you.
It was definitely some growing pains going from D1 to D2, but I think I have a good understanding of what to do nowadays.
Yeah.
Well, let's hope you do, because if you don't, none of us have any hope. I mean, come on.
I think you guys sell yourself short.
Oh, I'm straight average, sir. I know my role.
There's nothing wrong with being average.
Oh no, I'm saying it's wrong. It's just, yeah. My head right now is just completely. Oh my god, it's going to take me a while to. I was up till 3:30 in the morning, helping some people go through a raid.
As Buster looks up the TWAB real quick because Des might be out of it.
Oh god. Oh no, I have the TWAB.
Oh, okay, all right. Just making sure.
I'm not that out of it.
I'm about to say, I also am average. I'm just really good at capturing zones. That's where my strength lies.
That is an underrated talent, I must say. No one wants to capture the zones. I don't get it. You spawn next to a free zone. I mean, it's a free point. Just got to sit on it, man.
Yeah, I don't understand. I mean, it's easier when you have... I mean, we partied up pretty heavy in Iron Banner, so it was easy to capture zones. But when you're solo and you're the only one capturing zones, and you're like, what? Where's that? I'm the only one? Cool, I'm going to get killed. And then you just watch the red come closer to you, and you're like, man, I'm dead. But you're right. It is I think Birds mentioned it last episode. Capturing zones is one of those things that people forgot to do from D1 to D2. And it's, it's needed to win. So, I'm doing my part. I'm not a slayer. I'm definitely not having too many hero moments. By the way, that video was amazing.
Oh,
my god. That was great.
Spent a lot more time than I think anybody ever realized on that thing.
With all the cuts.
Yeah,
man. I was watching it. I actually watched it this morning when I woke up just so I can see some moments going, I can never do that.
I know.
I don't know. I don't think there's one particular clip in there that I think was impressive to me, and it was the grenade launcher chain and sort of the middle of it, because all the players that I was killing are on PC, names I recognize. Those are all really good players. Everything else, I don't think. Someone of maybe your guys' caliber couldn't learn to do yourself. Honestly,
oh, yeah.
I think ranked is gonna give a lot of people opportunities to get those kind of moments, just because you're gonna be matched against other people in your similar skill brackets.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I'm hoping at least.
Well, initially it's gonna be a shit show. Let's be honest. Everyone is going to be at the bottom, so you're going to be playing against the worst to the best. But I figure, give it a month, it'll probably even out. just like an Overwatch, placements and all that stuff.
Oh yeah. It's actually like one of our community members, Converse, had. We actually got to talk at length, and we were both hoping that the, MMR matchmaking, or whatever you want to call it, will actually get a pretty hefty, at minimum, soft reset for Season 3, because neither of us could remember if they did it at the end of Season 1.
They definitely didn't. And I know they said it's going to be a hard reset. Like, everyone starts at 0.
Okay.
And I'm sure it'll even out real quickly, even within placements, quote-unquote placements. As you play your first few matches, you're going to start getting matched where you're supposed to be.
Yeah, placements are always weird.
The one that I can remember that I was like, oh, what? I actually said verbally out loud to myself, what the hell? The Hammer Titan at the end, where you just kind of like threw the hammer and it hit one guy, and then in the kill feed you see like a 3-piece.
Yeah, that's a weird clip, because after I made that montage, I ended up going and visiting Swain when he was here for the summit, and I got a chance to talk to Claude, the subclass designer, and I got some insight on how some of the subclasses work. I guess one of the things I can share is that when they designed Sunbreaker, they distinguished this projectile speed of the hammer in the top tree and the bottom tree. Mm-hmm. So you actually throw the projectile faster in the bottom tree, the sunspot tree, and that's to make sure that you can fit in all those hammers in that time allotment. And then on the top tree, when the hammer explodes in the little explosions, they actually keep those little explosions tracking. So that's why you just get like kills really easily with the explosion, because they have a small amount of tracking built into them.
Okay, that makes sense.
And then that one just fires slower because it's technically easier to get kills with it.
Yeah.
So the nickname Galley Hammers fits.
Yeah,
Right.
That's a very apt nickname.
Yeah, I've got to say, it may not have been crazy, but I mean, one of my favorite clips, I mean, just, I guess, for the intelligence of the play was using a Titan barricade as, like, I don't even know how to explain it, but he just threw down a barricade. Honestly, I can't remember if you were defusing or not. No, you were defusing and, like, using the barricade to keep the warlock away as you were defusing a charge and countdown.
Yeah, the storm from tracking me.
It's like, seriously?
It works.
Brilliant.
Barricade, I think Barricade is misunderstood as far as like how versatile it is, because I think a lot of people just throw it up to try to get their health back. But especially if you watch like someone like Cammy, you can slide into corners and just throw a barricade up, and then when people see you slide around a corner, they don't expect to lose all their health in an instant. And then especially if you're running something like I am, like I run feedback fences. If they lose all their health and they punch you, they're dead after that. Because that feedback fence proc is going to kill them.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I love that entire video. I watched it, it's like, oh my god. I mean, it's true. You just have to work for it.
Yeah, it's hard. I will be the first to admit that none of those clips were easy to get. They might look easy, but in the moment, there's a lot of things you have to do in order for things to go that right. And I know that's a criticism of a lot of people, and I think it's fair. I definitely don't think it's as easy as it used to be, but I mean, that's just the world we live in right now. I think people just got to suck it up and deal with it.
Exactly.
Slide into corners, then drop the barricade. That's what I was doing wrong.
Well, I mean, you can slide out into people and still throw up the barricade, but you have to immediately throw up the barricade. There can't be any hesitation. The longer you wait, the worse it gets for you.
Yeah. That's probably my problem.
If you do that though, if you like doing that, wearing Kepri's sting is actually, or Kepri's horn is actually really good, because as soon as you throw up that barricade, it shoots out a thermite.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's actually
you can get away with a lot doing that.
So,
yeah, that exotic is actually way more useful than I thought. Once I was actually on the receiving end of some of it in Crucible, because again, it's like, oh, yeah, this is great, like PvE little thing, and you see someone wearing, it's like, huh, and then he actually like throws these barricades, and it's like, oh, I get it now.
Yeah, there's a lot of really interesting synergies in the game now that I don't think people are utilizing very much.
Well, we're gonna start picking your brain more. Des, do you want to hit the TWAB first?
The TWAB, because we have definitely have some information to go over. Also, the lore community has been lit ablaze, my God, with this narrative preview and the Warmind comic.
Yeah. I had to tweet that out when I saw you, like, my lore love has been rekindled, and, like, you got the invite to the Ishtar Discord. I was like, I have to do this from the RNGCast Twitter, and I put the applause.
Oh, yeah.
I had to. Because that's one of my favorite parts of you, dude, is, like, how into lore you get, and I'm like, oh, yes.
Oh, yeah. Like I said, this entire thing has definitely, like, re-sparked, like, a rabbit hole that I had talked about on cast before, but, yeah, it's... Oh, God. But, yeah. Oh, God.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah. It's very nice, very nice. Let's see, they also released 2, now 3 little videos, like developer insights and such. So those are definitely, like, worth the watch. La-di-la. We did get a small patch note preview of some things to come. You know, like an extra 50 vaults.
100.
No, I'm saying an extra 50 slots than what we were even originally said we were going to be getting. Because originally this vault space increase was going to be 50 slots, and now it's 100.
Oh, it was supposed to be 50.
Yeah, they doubled that. Because it was one stream, months ago when they first mentioned it's like, it's only going to be 50 spaces. It's like, well, that kind of sucks. And now it's 100. So you're getting an extra, 50% vault space. Mm-hmm. Multi-emotes are coming. Thank you, Jesus. They're getting a new emblem for guided games for the Leviathan, which is very nice. And it's going to give you some goodies. Once a week, once you guide someone to completion, you'll get a bright engram. They are moving quest items to a new inventory category. So yes, that way things like Acrius and the like will no longer be taking up your actual character inventory. Thank you, Bungie. Mm-hmm. I'm actually really hyped for this. They're actually adding sliders for in-game audio settings. Like we're getting like legit sliders for like sound, dialogue, music, and chat. Holy crap! Is it sad that that's probably one of the most things I'm excited for, other than like the exotic things? I know. Also, for those people running multiple characters of singular classes, your time is up. It no longer works. The weekly lockouts for raid and raid layered rewards are now class-based. So you can only get reward for a class once per week. So if you have 2 or 3 titans, or such and such, you're kind of screwed now. You're in the same boat as everyone else. Sorry. You've had 4 years, roughly, of this working. Oh God!
No, Des, are you? I mean, I could tell by your reaction to that you're okay with it.
Actually, I'm not okay with it. Because it has been a viable strategy. I'm okay with it, but I'm in this weird place because it's something that has worked, and it's just been around, been a thing. I guess I can understand it, but yeah, just to all of a sudden now be like, well, this isn't a thing anymore. This is really weird for like the timing and such, I suppose. That they choose now to pluck that out as a thing. I mean, if you ask me, it's just, like I said, strange.
Now, Keen, I'm assuming you have one of each class, right?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, so that it doesn't bother you. I mean, how do you feel about it?
I think it makes sense if you look at it from the fact that they've been talking about they want more player engagement. And so if you can reach the power cap really quickly, it will tank your player engagement, at least as far as that metric goes.
Yeah.
So from that standpoint, like, I get it. I get why they're doing it. Personally, I don't do it, so I don't care all that much. But I can understand why it would bother someone that's, like, trying to power grind to the top as fast as they possibly can. Especially if you're trying to push, like, raid timings or making sure you're ready for prestige or just you're that person that needs to complete everything and you don't like the other classes. Like, it is restrictive, but I can understand where they're coming from.
Yeah, there's definitely going to be no reason for people not to run one of each, except out of pure, basically, like, class bite. You straight up don't like hunters or warlocks or titans. That's the only reason you're not going to have one.
I mean, I don't like hunters, but I have one anyway.
But you don't like hunters?
I don't like hunters.
Oh.
I never liked hunters. I'm sorry. It's the jump, man. It's the jump.
And I thought we were friends. I understand. I understand.
Just acquaintances now.
I know. God. And sadly, it took me so long. Because hilariously, I retweeted the video. The montage video, and then it was like earlier in the week I finally realized, oh crap, wait a minute, I never followed you on Twitter. Oops, crap.
I'm not really worried about it.
It was just hilarious for me to find out. I was like, wait, I still haven't followed him? Dang it.
It's hard to keep tabs. It really is. I catch it too. I'm like, I realized I'm not following Game Boy Jones on my personal Twitter, and I'm like, oh, that's going to be fixed. And I was like, follow. And I just started following. I was like, who am I not following? Oh, I'm not following Average Joe. I'm not following Laz. Oh, shit. It's just kind of funny how it just slips your mind. You see it all the time, and you're like, oh, cool. I guess I'm following them, and then you realize, I mean, Keen, you had the best. It doesn't matter. That's your reaction to it was just so It doesn't matter. It's fine.
Like, if you want to see what I'm tweeting, there's a search bar. If you don't, it's no skin off my back. It's social media, man.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm not trying to be somebody.
No, you already are. I'm going to tell you right now.
I know, right?
That's what people say, but I still don't believe it, I'm going to be honest.
That's fair. That is fair.
I mean, I'm okay with this change. I mean, I've been playing 3 characters, or each class, since the start anyway, so... I mean, like Des, like you said, you had a good 4 years.
Oh yeah, you had like 3.5 or some odd years. Like,
yeah, you had a good run, Chief.
So,
you had a good run.
Well, I mean, if you play 3, let's say you play 3 Titans. If you play 3 Titans, are the other 2 Titans really characters you're playing, or are they just loot pinatas?
I mean, basically that. Well, for most people that I know, it's that case. It's the latter. They're the loot mules, basically.
As if they're just giving you like more reasons to play, and then like the grind itself it doesn't matter as much as it used to. Like, I don't think people would miss the loot pinata aspect of it if there's just more loot to get anyway. It'll all even out in the end. I think. If people are upset about it, I think it's just one of those things that initially it's bad because you're taking away some of my toys, and then you'll forget about it later on when you get all new shiny ones.
Yeah, like I believe I said in a party chat that Buster may have been a part of. I cannot wait to read the salty tweets on this subject. Actually, not really out of spite, but just because I know they're coming. It's like I haven't really seen them yet, but I know they're going to show up in my feed, and I'm going to get a chuckle. All right, so this is also our last week. hearing about the previews, the exotic tuning previews from John Wisniewski, and part of me is really going to miss this.
Yeah.
Well, what makes you think they're not going to do more of them later on?
No, I mean, at least for now. Like, it's almost become like part tradition.
The new normal.
Exactly, that, we every week we're hearing from Wisniewski, which I love, but, so yeah, it's going to be a...
I fucking love the term loot pinata.
I know, right? That is...
You get about the same amount of satisfaction when it explodes. Like
I'm just giggle pussing about it. Hold on.
It is great. So this week is Risk Runner, whose exotic perk will be turned on in PvP, as well as taking, as long as it's out, you're taking 50 half damage from arc sources. That sounds quite nuts to me.
And even if it's stowed, it activates.
Yeah, it activates, but you don't get damage reduction.
Yeah, but then you can pull it out and use it. That's the thing.
Yeah, it's like, really? I mean, really?
It's literally the old school Power Rangers. Do, 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 do. That's what it is.
Exactly.
You get hit by arc and you're like, oh, whoop.
Yeah, it's morphing time. Here we go.
Yeah, that gun concerns me for PvP.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if you guys play a lot of PC or console, but I know on PC you see a bunch of Dawnblades, but you also see the occasional Stormcaller. And if you have Risk Runner out, Stormcaller Super does 38 every tick instead of 75. So I don't know how Stormcaller is going to kill a guy with Risk Runner before the guy with Risk Runner kills the Stormcaller.
Yeah, it's
going to be rough.
Yeah.
And then taking half damage from charged melees, taking 45 damage from arc bolts. It's like taking half damage from skips. There's no, and then you can just mosey on through, waltzing through a field of wildflowers when someone throws a pulse down, and then you just get to chain on the entire team.
Yeah,
it's gonna be really good. I just worry about all the Stormcallers that play against the Risk Runner and are just like, oh well, I guess my super doesn't do anything anymore.
Yeah, it's going to be it's going to be interesting to see how this one pans out.
With all the exotic, all the new exotic changes, it's going to be interesting to see where everything falls into place. But
except for Sweet Business, because it's getting a stowed inventory of 999 rounds.
It's going to be the best PvE exotic.
Oh my god! I mean, I also now understand because when they teased Sweet Business, they actually had two teaser things out on Twitter. One of which was a Titan from third person just forever shooting Sweet Business. But then the other was the Warlock taking down an Assault Walker by himself. Pretty much nothing but, Sweet Business and basically a Lunafaction Rift. Ermagerd. Was that nice? Just constantly shoots so much. My God.
I love that clip. Still firing. Still firing.
And then they're also talking about Darcy changes. Because your little personal assistant is getting some changes as well. 4 times damage once locked onto a target. What? I mean, That's...
I did not see the Darcy one.
I mean, that's a lot. I mean, a lot. But, I mean, that's not... Maybe you would know a little better than me, Keen, but that's not going to be, as crazy as... I mean, that's not going to be, body shot range.
Well, I know that they said in the TWAB that it's activity dependent. So
yeah, that's true too.
It's possible that you can one body with it, but you're going to have to stand your target for a while.
Yeah.
Or it'll just do a huge chunk of their life. I'm not really sure which one it's going to be. I can't imagine them giving Borealis all those like conditionals to one-shot body shot, and then just having Darcy be like, track your target really well, and then body shot them.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking as well, because like Borealis, I mean, they pretty much also outright admitted Borealis will be able to body shot.
Yeah,
with this condition. Yeah. So I mean,
maybe it changes the archetype of the sniper in PvP, because I know it's like a lightweight sniper, like a Widow's Bite style. Maybe it goes all the way to the highest tier instead. So it does. I don't know how much it's supposed to buy, like 180 or something. So it'll be close to a one shot, but not quite.
I'm still looking for the video.
They're using it on the Eater of Worlds boss. I can never remember any names.
Argos?
Yes. And it ramps up pretty quickly to the max damage. It goes from like, I want to say like 9,000 to 54,000 or something.
Is it
It's good.
Is it Wisniewski who did it? Or
it's in the TWAB.
Yeah, it's in the TWAB.
Oh, okay. I'll just look at that. That makes everything way more easy. Thanks, guys.
But and the fact the 7-round magazine, which
That's
doesn't
very nice.
sound normal, but also a reduced zoom, which is very nice, and they're actually going to give it some aim assist outside of the tracking.
It already has really high aim assist. I imagine it gets like D1 sniper level of aim assist at that point.
Because that's something I have to double check, because there was a weirdness I found. It's going to be that one. And it's going to be, I quickly click away at things and let things load and rapid fire. Yeah, it actually has, right now, at least in the API, it has an aim assist of 0.
That's weird.
Yeah, that was the weirdness that I found when I was doing it. Like, I don't know, like, just at least from the API, it has like all aim assist that it has apparently is well scoped in.
Jesus.
So yeah, that's
built into the target acquired perk, maybe.
Yeah. So I mean, it definitely sounds like they're basically going to be giving it just some basic aim assist, is what it sounds like. And then, of course, Wisniewski gives a nice little shout-out to his team, which is very nice work. And they go over the new challenge cards that will be coming. But that's just kind of interesting. I do like the fact that they're calling the new challenge card, or they're adding legendary challenge cards, essentially, that you can get from Xur, called Five of Swords. I love the fact they're still going all tarot card with that. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I was about to say, that's it, because I saw the Nightfall scores, which these Nightfall scores just are getting boosted even more. It's like they're definitely saying in the 300 to 400,000 range. Anywho, they are again changing how Eververse is going to be working to a degree. By degree, I mean pretty drastically. They're introducing the prismatic matrix. And essentially, it is going to take over the featured, or not really take over, but it's going to be like an additional featured. Every week there's going to be 10 things in this prismatic matrix. By completing what? Oh yeah, your first well-rested level up in every week, you'll earn a prismatic facet, which lets you use the prismatic matrix for free once a week. It is a count based. So you will get one prismatic facet a week for free. And then for using the prismatic, it is 200 silver each. But items in this list, one reason I actually kind of like this is because this is a knockout list. So if you already have the item in the matrix, then you're not going to be able to get it from the matrix again, like at all. Whether you got it from, the last prismatic or previous prismatic matrix that you unlocked, whether you got it from an engram, a bright dust purchase, whatever, you're not going to get it from a prismatic matrix. And I don't know. I kind of like this system. I kind of like the sounds of the system. And of course, it's 200 silver beyond your facet or any other sources just to straight out use the matrix. So, like I said, there's that.
Now, is that random or is that a selection type of deal?
Well, it's random from a selection.
Okay.
So
it's not like I can say, I have a token, I want this.
Exactly. I mean, it's definitely, it's still random, but it's in a knockout list of 10 items.
Okay.
And if something you own gets put into this featured list, you're not going to get it from the Matrix. Beautiful. Like, if you've gotten it before. So, I kind of like this system. And like I said, at least at first, we're going to see exactly how it plays out. Mm-hmm. But,
And I believe I saw you can stack up to 3 activations before.
You can stack 3 prismatic facets. So definitely be sure. And I also saw a warning. Oh yeah, make sure to have proper inventory space before earning a rank up on a given week. So yeah.
So don't lose it. Pretty much.
Yes.
If you have 3, use it before you get another one.
They also, and then of course, in the doc, they do go about like giving file sizes for Warmind. Mm-hmm. And they list some already known 1.2 issues. And that's about it for the TWAB.
Didn't they mention more heroic modifiers coming? Thought I saw that. But
they did.
Yeah, it skipped over.
You skipped over? Okay. That's fine.
Well, I mean, I glanced over them because, I mean... Well, yeah, we do have some more modifiers coming. And, oh, yeah, that's right. Heroics are getting modifiers. But, yeah, like I said, since they're changing the challenge card, they are adding some good ones, some interesting choices into... advantages and disadvantages. I do like the fact that heroics are going to be getting these, or basically going to be getting one of each. Heroics are going to have a singe that will stick, and then stick once a week, and then daily the advantage and disadvantage will be different. The new advantages include Brawler, which double your melee recharge rate and damage. Grenadier, which does the same for grenades. And Heavyweight, which triple power ammo drop rate and double power weapon damage. Sure. Disadvantages include glass. Players' health and shields are halved, but recharge rates are doubled. That's going to be interesting. Blackout, which will disable your radar, and enemies do 20 times increased melee damage.
Getting one-shotted by a thrall, baby.
I mean, light switch, essentially.
Yeah.
From old school. Iron enemies, I'm going to hate this one. Enemies no longer stagger, and health pools are increased by 50%, because I freaking hated, fighting against phalanxes without being able, oh my god. And, the Taken guys, and... anything with a shield. My God. Anyway, and then grounded, which players will take 5 times damage while in the air. So yeah, those are the modifiers coming, which for a Nightfall, you'll be able to choose like one from each category. You'll be able to choose a burn, an advantage, and a disadvantage. Of course, the more disadvantages you pile up, more than likely, the more your multiplier is going to skyrocket. Oh.
Uh-huh.
Okay, here we go. And the unique challenge card disadvantages. So just for challenge cards, you also get of course, the Extinguish, return the fire team to orbit on wipe. Famine, ammo drops reduced by 50%.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Match game, which we've talked about before. Attrition, health regen is slowed greatly, and enemies drop health orbs. It's going to be interesting. And everyone's favorite, momentum, is returning as a challenge card unique disadvantage. And they talk about changing the scores, or like something about they talk about increasing the par scores, but I don't really see how they're increasing them.
It says,
don't quite understand. I mean, it says 30, 60, 110, and 200K.
Yeah.
Unless they're pushing out to 110 and 200K, because I know right now it's 30. And it's like 60 or something is one score that is significant, but
60 is the aura.
Yeah, but I don't. But anyway, so higher scores will probably be incoming from people that can play PvE way better than me. Apparently.
We're average on all accounts, Des. That's okay.
I know. I'm really starting to get that nailed in the head, because these freaking scores. It's like, my God, can I not feel good about anything I play in this game?
I mean, you can. I felt pretty good.
Yeah.
I felt pretty good this week. So, I guess now we can talk about some PvP changes because Keen's here. Because I'm pretty sure he's like, okay, PvE guys, wrap it up.
I like PvE. I think I play all parts of the game. I enjoy all parts of the game. I used to be a big WoW guy before I started playing Destiny.
Yeah, if you remember, Foster.
I've had 13 concussions. Like I can't remember what day it is.
That's true. And for those listening curious, it has been 72 weeks since we had Keen on. So it's been a minute.
Mm-hmm.
Been quite a minute.
Now, Keen, are you... it's pretty much a foregone conclusion, but I'm going to ask, are you excited for the ranked playlist coming?
Yeah, I am, because I don't have to sweat anymore.
And you can
I'm just kidding.
And you can get the Claymore pretty quickly.
We'll see how long it takes to get your rank ups, especially with the bonuses, the daily bonuses or weekly bonuses, and the win streaks. But I am confident I can get to the top 40%, yes. I think a lot of people can get to the top 40%, especially if the decay isn't that bad for losses. It just might take other people a lot longer. So we'll see. It could be like the Chaperone quest, where it's like you get it after a long time of wins and losses, or, the best people get it within a month.
Mm-hmm.
Just, it all depends. I would like to try to get Legend, but I have a full-time job, so we'll see how that goes.
Yeah. But, that's the only thing that's really also given me any kind of comfort, is the fact that right now my competitive win rate is 55%. So
I think a lot of things will be introduced as ranked, including ranked ladder anxiety.
Yes.
The best symptom of ranked queues.
That's going to be amazing to go through.
Yeah, I'm interested to see where Elo Hell shakes out.
Yeah.
It's probably going to be whatever's below Fabled. I can't remember off the top of my head. I know the Guardian Hero, something, and then Fabled, and then Mythic and Legend.
Yeah.
So I'm sure it'll be right below Fable because that's what everyone wants.
Also,
But I'm very excited for it. Yeah.
Yeah, I did like the fact that like on Twitter people were mentioning it's like, well, shouldn't Mythic be higher, like it was in Halo or whatever? And then one of the designers like, yeah, it's like being old school Halo. It's like, yeah, that'd be nice, but also we have this thing about in Destiny about becoming legend.
See what I did there?
Comes back around.
Womp 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 womp. That's what I heard when I read that. That's what I heard. Like, oh man, you're taking shots. These guys are going to take shots back now. Bungie's not afraid to fire off multiple cannons at one time.
Yeah, they're letting the devs speak a lot more. So,
which is good.
I know a lot of them have a lot to say.
I mean, in that what we wanted, we want to hear them speak more. So, I mean, I did. I enjoy them being more active, on social media and answering questions and putting out more the Vidocs or little video clips, whatever you want to call them. As my dog tries to eat my computer desk. That's interesting.
Nice.
Yeah, right. Now, Keen, what exotics are you interested in getting your hands on as a I'll say it, a PvP master?
So I guess you want new ones or old ones?
Whatever you're into, man. Whatever you're ready to see with the exotics changes.
All right, so we'll go over the new ones first, and then I'll go over a couple old ones I'm interested in. Yeah. So the new ones, I gotta say that the Huckleberry is going to be my jam. I feel like that gun was designed for my playstyle. I just love punching people in the face. I'm pretty sure I have more melee kills than weapon kills, on weapon types. So I'm very interested to see how the exotic perk comes into play, exactly how much recoil it's going to add and how much damage it's going to add. But the fact that you get a free reload on a melee kill and then activate the perk, it's real good. And it's a Tex Mechanica gun, so what's not to love? I was the last word user almost all throughout D1, so it'll be nice to return to that weapon faction as my weapon of choice. Exotic armor, I want to know what the Ashen Wake does. I've heard that internally the perk is nicknamed Fastball. That's all I know. So I know that Fastball in D1 increased your grenade throw time or throw speed, but that is already increased in D2. It's all normalized and it was increased. So I'm very curious to see what it does. I've been joking with people that it's going to make your sticky one shot, but I was saying if they were to balance that, if it did exist, then what I would do is I would make it one shot, but give it twice the recharge time. Yeah. So instead of being a 1 minute cooldown, it'd be a 2 minute cooldown, and at that point, it'd basically be like a mini super, which is fine in my opinion. You get a free kill every 2 minutes. I'm not going to be upset, and you have to give up a lot of really good exotic armor pieces that you could be running on Titan instead. But who knows what it does?
Yeah.
It just looks really nice.
It does look cool. I'll give you that.
And then old exotics, Risk Runner, like we talked about earlier, looks really good. I know that Noose talked about what Sunshot does. He didn't show any clips. There's a joke clip showing it detonated a nuke when it killed something, but Rat King, just because I know that the rate of fire doubles when you get it fully stacked up. So it becomes an actual last word if you have it stacked, which is pretty sweet.
My God.
And Hardlight, actually. Hardlight looks very interesting to me because you can just shoot the ground in front of people and bounce it back at people for double damage. So you don't really need to go for headshots on that gun anymore. You just shoot at their crotch and it'll kill them.
Aim for the toes.
Yep. Bounce it up into the body, and that'll kill just as fast as a lot of these powered up SMGs and powered up Rat King. And I'm the masterwork on all the exotic weapons. I know that it's supposed to take a very long time
We'll see.
And my understanding is that they've said you're not going to be able to masterwork every single gun by the time Warmind's done. Like, you just won't make it. It's too much to do. So, challenge accepted to all you no-lifers out there that don't work, that don't go to school and just play Destiny all day. I'm sure you'll make it and prove them wrong. But outside of those select few, I know it's going to take a long time, and I'm excited for that. It'll be another way to get a lot of players engaged in the game, especially if they make some of the better PvP exotics require playing PvP to unlock that perk. You're going to see a lot more people in the playlist, which is always a good thing from my standpoint. More players in that playlist it's just nice.
Oh yeah, for sure.
See, I'm an old school Service Regime fan, so I want to see what they did to that. I also want to see the Worm God. Those, I guess they're the cult type exotics this time around. I think it's like the Mask of Zol, the Caress of the Worm God. I want to see what those do, because I just love the hive architecture and look. But I just want to collect stuff. I mean, I'm going to get them. It's inevitability. I'm going to either buy them or get them dropped. So if they're good, I'll use them. If they're bad, I won't. That's just how I look for it.
Sure, for sure.
Now, Keen, we reached out to the Revolution for some questions, and I hope you're ready, because there's a bunch.
I'm ready. I'm always ready.
All right. From Burning Wing, if someone was looking for a loadout with better in-air accuracy, what would you suggest?
Better in-air accuracy. I think that depends on how close you want to fight your opponents. Anything with moving target on it is going to be better in the air, because moving target basically functions like hidden hand. So if you have hidden hand in the air, it's going to be better. But if you want like good all-around, you want a hand cannon SMG. Doesn't matter which one you put in which slot. It's kind of your prerogative. Like I said, moving target's really good. So there's like a couple 110 hand cannons, I think, with moving target. So those would be good in the air. Anything with hip fire is really good in the air. Anything with opening shot is good in the air. And then maxing out your range, increasing the aim assist. SMGs are always good in the air. I'm pretty sure they have pinpoint accuracy. And 180 hand cannons, because I'm pretty sure they have built-in Icarus. I know that when you jump, the reticle actually shrinks instead of when you hip fire. So instead of when you jump in, the reticle expands on pretty much every other gun in the game. So if you want a hand cannon that is good in the air and is guaranteed to be good in the air, use a 180. I know those don't jive with a lot of people because the recoil is really weird.
It is.
But max stability on them, and it'll be a lot easier to handle. The higher your stability, the lower the kick. So you'll just have to run like a longer range, either SMG or something like an auto rifle or a pulse rifle. As far as what I would run personally, I would either run DFA and Risk Runner right now, or I would run something like Antiope and like an Allegro.
I was hoping he would give his. I was hoping, Keen, you would give your suggestions, like what you would run.
Right now I run DFA and Risk Runner on almost all maps unless it's long range, and then I switch to Vigilance Wing and Royal Disposition.
Ooh, interesting.
Royal Disposition. That's the raid.
No, that's New Monarchy.
That's the New Monarchy.
Sorry, Dispensation.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's the New Monarchy one. The recoil pattern on it is really, really good.
Fair. All right, so from Jared Van Kel, how effective do you think the new matchmaking will be? I assume he's talking...
For ranked?
Yeah, it's got to be about ranked. How effective do I think it'll be? I think it'll be very effective for anyone in the middle or the bottom. I think it'll be terrible for people at the top. And the only reason I say it's terrible for people at the top is because as you get better and better, the pool of players in that similar skill bracket shrinks. So you have a greater chance of running into players all over the world as opposed to closer to your area. Personally, I don't think it's a bad thing. I've had to deal with it since D1. And the fact that they're kind of turning that knob up again makes me feel like ranked is going to be a lot more like Taken King matchmaking, when everyone was like, it's every game is sweaty kind of thing. That's what ranked is going to be like. And I think a lot of those issues will be alleviated because you have that expectation going in. Like, yeah, I'm going to be playing against a lot of very good players if I'm a very good player, or I'm going to be playing against a lot of people that I know I can kill and won't instantly die when I look at them because they're in my skill bracket. So, yeah, it'll be fine for the vast majority of people. Any of the complaints you hear from the top are because there just aren't that many people up there. And that's just the reality of it. And if you don't like it, tank your rank. Like, no one's telling you to stay up there. If you want to farm montage clips, make a new account or tank your rank and just go crazy. Yeah. I don't care.
Either tank your stats or smurf. I mean,
and that's how it is in every ranked system. It's like if you get that high, a lot of these players start making new accounts because it's like, I don't want to play against good players all the time. That's fine. It's your prerogative. I don't think it makes you a better player. You know what I mean? You're going to cap out at some point if you always want to play against people that are worse than you. But some people just like the clips. Yeah. I can't blame them for that.
I would definitely look forward to a more skill-based matchmaking for sure, because like I said, I have no illusions or anything of my skill bracket, but unlike people like that share my skill, I do enjoy like going in for like the sweaty matches and stuff. I want hard-fought victories, and I want something I can walk away from with at least learning something, whether win or loss. And it's easier to do, in my opinion, if you're going up against people in similar skill brackets.
And it'll be a much better arena for quick play to shine as like a more casual playlist, because if you really want to like compete, then you actually have something worth playing in. As opposed to now where it's just like, I want to win, let me 4-stack with my 2K80 buddies and just roll over everyone in quick play for like 2 hours and call it a day. Yeah. And then I guess the other matchmaking thing that's changing is they're weighting teams versus solo players. Yeah. So as a heavily invested, generally solo player, I love this change. I'm interested to see how it feels, because obviously they're never going to tell us how exactly it matches up, which is fine. I don't really need to know. It's internet magic. But if it feels like I play more solo players, then it's a win in my book, because I have the same issues that everybody else has. Is that I'll load up a quick play. I'm like, first game of the night, I just want to kick back, have a beer, a long day at work, and play a game of Destiny. And then I run against the 4-stack of people that I recognize. And I'm just like, well, I wanted to relax, and I probably still can relax, but I know I'm going to lose. Because there's just no way that, like, 4 people of that caliber are going to lose to me. There's just no way. I'm just not that good. And no one's that good. It's a team game. So maybe if my teammates are really good, too, we can beat that 4-stack, and that does occasionally happen. But generally speaking, it sucks to get pub stomped all the time. So if that gets lessened, that's great. I have no problems with that. Lessening it by any amount is good in my opinion, and it'll just be up to the players, because you remember all those losses a lot more than you remember the wins. So if you're solo and you match up 3 teams in a row, I'm sure someone's going to speak up and be like, your matchmaking doesn't work. When you just might have been that unlucky guy that got thrown into the system that's like, this team has been waiting 5 minutes. Let's just give them a team. And you're that unlucky guy that drew the short stick. Like, I don't know what to tell you, man. Sometimes that's just how it goes, and you got to take your L's and move on.
You have chosen poorly.
Well, overall, for matchmaking, I have high hopes.
Okay. Nice.
This one's from Fred Bob Bazooka. Over/under for the Warmind having a better narrative than Osiris.
Oh, that's an easy over.
Yeah, I about to say.
They've had more time on it. They've had more feedback.
Yeah, they have.
I mean, September is going to be better. That's just how development goes. You have an initial project. Everybody tells you how bad it is. You try to fix what you can in the given time period, and then you hope that the next thing you send out gets better, and then they give you more feedback, so you make the next one even better.
Yeah.
I know that people want to see D1 with rose-colored glasses, but I remember playing in beta. It was not such a great game. And then it was not such a great game in The Dark Below, and then it was not such a great game in House of Wolves. And then eventually it became a great game like in Rise of Iron because it had all these things that built on that foundation. And the foundation was always solid. That's why people kept playing. And I think D2's bones are just as good. It just doesn't have that same build-up that D1 had.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I understand a lot of the complaints, but I also understand that like D1 did not start as great as it did either.
No, not for sure. Wow. Like I said, there's a lot of people that I feel a lot of what they remember from D1 is definitely closer towards the end when things were looking better. But yeah, it's like we keep mentioning. I mean, there was a lot of hot garbage in D1 vanilla. A lot, like
the loot cave. Purple's turning into blues.
Yeah. Oh my God. That's one thing I will never forget. Like actually looking that up, and someone on Reddit's like, it's actually easier to get an exotic out of a legendary than it is to get a legendary out of a legendary engram. Mm-hmm. It's like that was a thing. I mean, come on. You might say the loot system is broken now, but remember that when it was literally broken.
Yeah. They should have made that engram like a half and half. Like half of it was blue and half of it was purple. Then you know what you were getting into.
Right. A blurple engram.
Yeah.
But I don't have super high expectations out of Warmind Story, to be honest, because again, it is one of the smaller projects. I mean, House of Wolves did great in the narrative, like for starting to set the pace of what D1's narrative became. So this one will probably do about the same. It will be... I do feel that it will be better, of course, than Osiris. I just don't have high expectations of how much better, because, I mean, it's still a shorter-term project. Or not shorter-term, but, a smaller project, essentially.
This isn't going to be Taken King type story.
No.
No, for sure.
No, it's not Comet level of like development, which
exactly.
is the September update is a full expansion. So
yeah, exactly.
If you're going to get like the narrative that you expect, it's probably going to be there.
Yeah, exactly. And which kind of combos into Zero Yuna's question. What do you expect in Warmind Story?
I expect to be given a lot more questions than answers. And I don't necessarily say that as a bad thing, but I just think that's Bungie's MO, where a lot of the mystique of the narrative is there's a lot that they give you, and it just provides you with more questions. It's like, okay, we did this thing, but what next? Or this thing happened, but why does it matter? And then it gives them a lot of opportunities to explain that later on. Yeah. Whether that be through an adventure or a lost sector or the actual storyline, I don't know. I'm not part of that narrative team. And I can imagine there's a lot of different ways they could go with it. I think it just really depends on what resonates with players. Like, I know that with D2, they changed a lot of the lore to the lore tab. They changed a lot of the lore to these, like, scannables in the environment. And some of those hit and some of those didn't. So I can imagine what hit and what players do like, and provided that feedback, you will see a lot more in September.
Oh yeah.
But I think in Warmind, I think Warmind is the last in the cycle of what can we fix as far as what players didn't like before they start innovating again, and like, well, how can we push this?
Yeah, for sure.
Just because of the time span. Like, they already had the 2 DLCs announced. Maybe not by name, but we knew that something was coming with like a Warmind and Anna Bray. We knew something was coming with Osiris or Mercury. With the Comet, we have no idea what that expansion is going to look like or entail. We just know that there's some crazy new mode in it.
I saw that, and I was wondering, what do you guys think that crazy mode would be? I'm glad you actually brought it up, because that was my next, my add-on to that question.
I am not going to say anything about the mode. I am going to say that from what I know about it, a lot of people like it. A lot of people liked playing it, and it excites me.
Shit,
but
I forgot NDAs, man. I'm sorry.
Dude. I didn't sign an NDA, but because I wasn't invited. But I know some stuff from people within the community, and yeah, I think the hype behind it is real. I don't think it's just people blowing it out their ass. I don't think it's a bunch of hot air. I do think it's real. I do think it sounds very cool, and everyone that played it were excited about it. You don't get a bunch of people invited to a summit who are hypercritical of the game coming out of it saying this is going to be great if they don't actually believe that, or you paid them a lot of money. And I do not believe that they were paid any money.
Right. I know, right? Yeah, because that's also like the thing. Like,
go ahead, Des. Sorry.
Okay, there. It's like waiting. Well, okay. Actually, I do remember what I was saying, but yeah, it's like a lot of the like people, like the super critical, even the people that were distancing themselves from Destiny are kind of like getting back into it, like now, which it's kind of interesting to see.
I'm kind of happy about that.
Yeah,
because I mean, I understand everybody has their own feelings about different things. I mean, Des, you have your feelings about games. I have my feelings about games, and I'm sure Keen, you have certain feelings about certain types of games that we will be asking later on.
Sure.
Yeah, and for the audience, my Pete did his normal rampaging monster thing and unplugged something. That's why the cut was so drastic.
Yeah. Also, as far as what I'm expecting from Warmind's story, I can't wait to see the quote-unquote like Saint 14 moment of Warmind. Like that hidden piece of story that may or may not be the most amazing thing ever.
I mean, we also did see that big dragon thing.
The worm
god Zol. Which I do like things like maybe it's not Zol. Maybe it's one of Zol's brood or spawn or whatever. But, you know, either way, it's a big freaking worm.
It is.
Jesus, seeing that thing rampage through the freaking the structures, and it's like, oh, that's what we fight?
Now, do you think that's the end boss of the expansion, or do you think that's the end boss of the raid lair?
Expansion. That's because, well, if you watch the developer insight, that's their big bad for that. That's like the Koalas. That's like the Panoptes of Warmind. Okay. As far as what I gather, which I also super liked Panoptes. Like that was probably my favorite part of Curse. Like regardless of how well like the gameplay or story went, I really liked Panoptes. Like his design and everything was just very nice and cool, and the fact that he was kind of stalking you throughout the entire story, I did like. Which I kind of like that whole thing. Which the earliest I think I can remember was Resident Evil Nemesis.
Yeah, with Nemesis chasing you.
Yeah, like Nemesis, the end game boss, is like chasing you throughout the entire game. Yeah, that's what I'm looking forward to, at least for that. Yeah. These little hit nuggets that they're going to throw in. And, okay, actually, also, I want to know if we find out if Anna Bray is the original wearer of Celestial Nighthawk. I want to find that out. I'm hoping that's in there.
I want to know what happened to Shiro. When they're bringing back Shiro.
I know, right?
That's my boy. That's Trespasser. Give me back. I love that gun.
I know, right? That was a fun one.
I expect a lot of Hive.
Oh, well, of course.
I expect a lot of Hive lore, a lot of Hive Easter eggs getting dropped. I mean, it is the Hive expansion, So, and I do love the Hive, lore-wise and like aesthetically,
And
like I mentioned.
And hilarious, it's not just Hive, but this is also a tucked away, like hidden, like Hive. This isn't even like any of the normal broods we've faced. This is like Zol after Zol has, distanced himself from the other worm gods and like taken himself basically out of that pantheon. So
Yeah.
it's going to be interesting to see.
What's the deal with Rasputin?
That too.
Yeah.
It's like, if you read the webcomic, like, that first page of Rasputin, like, talking about himself, that seems pretty menacing.
Yeah, I'm curious to see if they reintegrate what they were gonna do with Rasputin in D1 before they changed everything around. See if some of that ends up making its way into D2.
I mean, I wouldn't doubt it, because, I'm definitely looking forward to seeing that story and, like, seeing how that pans out, for sure. But that's something I don't want to get too hyped for, because it might fall flat, like with Osiris.
Yeah. Burning Wing asks again, by the way, I don't know if you remember, this is also a food podcast, because we always talk about food somehow. Which is better, a burrito or a taco?
I'm gonna go with taco.
Des?
Depends on how hungry I am. Because if I'm like, if I'm starved, I'm gonna want a nice big burrito. But
The problem I have with burritos is that conceptually, you're putting the same stuff in each one. Like, obviously, what goes in a burrito doesn't always go in a taco and vice versa. But it's both hot, and when you wrap it up, it becomes this little steam nugget that gets soggy, right?
that's why I don't let it get soggy.
Yeah, but if it's hot, I don't want to destroy my mouth. At least with the taco, like, I know I'm not going to get a soggy taco.
Yeah, within a reasonable time. That's fair. That's a fair thing.
That's my only gripe with the burrito. I will
That's
eat
fair.
both. I love food, but
Yeah, say that, but yeah, my preference will probably be taco.
I'm going to say this on the piggyback of me having the greatest fish taco of my life this week, so I'm going to say taco. But I haven't had the burritos from this place, so it might change. But I did have the greatest fish taco of my life this week. Actually, the best tacos of my life this week. So, just saying it right now. And this one just seems to catapult off of the burrito taco debate. J Devil asked, how come no one has ever invented deodorant for butts? Asking for a friend.
it's called a bidet. I mean, I know a lot of us live in America, and we don't normally do that, but you should, because it's cleaner, and then you will have your deodorant for butts.
I mean, not letting too much out. I have had a experience the bidet, and it is a great. It's the best invention. It really is. Like, you think about it, it's weird, like water shooting in your butt, and then you do it, and you're like, man, I feel great. So, you want to take this one, Des?
From Lazarich, create your own ranking system for PvP with different rank names.
Oh, different rank names. Oh. I'm putting Scrub at the top.
I was about to say, yeah, like, I'd probably put Scrubber on my skill bracket also.
The better you get, the more people complain about the worst stuff. I don't know why it is. Because I feel like when you're good, it doesn't matter what people use, but all of a sudden it's like this moral agenda of like, you can't use that anymore, and I don't understand. I don't understand. But I that's the only rank I'm going to give. The top is Scrub. I don't care what the other ones are.
That's fair. I wish I wasn't slightly sleep deprived to be able to answer this a little more properly. But I don't know. I'd probably go bird puns, to be honest. For different ranks.
The worst part is we've seen this since yesterday, Des. We could have written them down.
I know, right? I know. I'm sorry, Laz. I failed you. I mean, I was supposed to record something for Zan, and I ended up forgetting like 2 different times. Sorry, Zan. Because I would have thought it was hilarious to have a voice clip of me rotating somewhere of using the terminology lit, which is definitely something in my everyday vocabulary. Ding. Like shimmer from the teeth, because I'd never say that word.
I'd have done the cheesy thumbs up from like sitcoms.
Oh yeah, that's with the ding. I actually literally did that.
Oh, okay.
I mean,
we're not a video podcast, Des.
Yeah, we don't do video. Yeah, we don't do video anymore. But just letting you know, I did the thumbs up as I did the ding. But yeah. So sorry, Les. I failed you.
Gorilla Golf asks, if I wanted to change my playstyle from being passive to being aggressive, what would be a good starting point in brackets, class, weapons, etc., etc.?
Hold forward.
I mean, he's not wrong.
That's only half joking. You really do hold forward if you want to be more aggressive. All right, so class... What was it? Class, loadout, and what was the last part?
Yeah, basically, any tips that you would have for becoming aggressive.
Okay, so
Class
it depends.
weapons.
It depends on how passive you are and how comfortable you are holding forward. So if you're like one of those guys that plays as an anchor, which is not a bad thing, I anchor all the time. The anchor is the guy that sits in the back of the map to hold your spawn and picks off people trying to swap spawns or like cap C when you guys have B or something like that. So that's the guy with like a scout and a pulse or something. Let's take Shores of Time, because Shores of Time has a lot of, or Distant Shores has a lot of varied engagement spaces. So you're the guy on boats, right? You're protecting C, you're protecting B platform. Maybe you can look out at Ninja with like your Vigilance Wing or your Mida. If you want to be the guy that's running through Dark and running through Shrine and shotgunning people, protecting the point itself as opposed to around the point. If you want to go the extreme, you run like double SMG or like SMG sidearm, and you force yourself into those engagements. Because the only way you're going to get good at being aggressive is practicing it. So by using that kind of loadout, an all close range loadout, you force yourself to be aggressive to do anything. The second thing is you're going to die a lot. That's okay. The most aggressive players die the most. That's just how it is. They have arguably the worst KD compared to, like, let's say if you took all the top players and you put those super aggressive ones at the very top and the super passive ones at the very bottom, and then you looked at their KDs, it would be a line where the KD would be really high at the bottom and then really low at the top. There's obviously going to be outliers where you have like the everyman at the top that just is amazing and the guy at the bottom that can't hit any shots. But generally speaking, you have to be prepared to die a lot. Now, as far as class picks go, so I guess a general aggressive loadout is use what I use. I would consider myself a hyper-aggressive player. So you use a hand cannon and an SMG, or an SMG and an auto rifle. Pulse rifles force you to be too passive too often. Auto rifles put you in this sweet spot where if you need to, if you get someone weak and they push into cover, you can realistically push them from your position with your SMG out and kill them before they're at max health again. So you can still have a health advantage when you push. If you get someone weak with a pulse and try to push with an SMG, normally that engagement space is just too long. And by the time you get there, they're at full health. You might lose the engagement at that point. You lose all advantage you have. And the amount of time it takes you to get there, you get team shot. No one likes getting team shot. So if you lower the instances where that can happen, that's a good thing for aggressive players. Now, as far as class goes, I'll pick one for every class because I know not everyone plays one class. So if you're a Titan and you want to be really aggressive, you either want to pick top tree Sentinel or bottom tree Striker. Do not pick top tree Striker if you want to be aggressive, because top tree Striker's strengths are based around grenade play. And Grenade play is about flushing people out. It's about cutting off engagement spaces, and that isn't always good for an aggressive player. You don't want to cut someone off from a line. You want to force them into it. And then you want a kit that encourages that to happen. So bottom tree striker with the melee perk that gives you all your health back, that encourages you to melee people. And if you're running an SMG, that also encourages you to melee people, because melee time to kill, when you combine bullets, is about the same as if you just shot the person. But your advantage now is you get all your health back. And you want that health back because if you're in an aggressive engagement, you're going to be surrounded by other people. And then top tree sentinel for the same reason, except now you get an instant overshield instead of having to wait for your health to regen. So if you're taking damage as a striker and you get that health regen, you keep taking damage, it doesn't happen. You get a little bit of health back, and then you probably die from being team shot. Now, if you're a sentinel and you punch someone to kill them and you get that overshield, it's instant. It's like, I want to say it's an instant 100 health. I'll be able to test it once private matches come out, but it's instant. So that if you're getting shot before, you're not immediately dying now, and you have an opportunity to run with that overshield into cover, or because you deal more damage when you have overshield up, you can start double meleeing people. So those two, bottom tree striker, top tree sentinel, use those if you want to be aggressive. On hunter, you either use the trapper Night Stalker, which I want to say is bottom tree. Maybe it's top tree, I can't remember. I don't play much hunter. But smoke is really good at letting you get into close quarters. So what you do is you smoke where you would normally challenge someone. So let's say we're still on distant shore, and I want someone to go into dark, into the cave. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw a smoke on the B platform side, like on the wall above the dark cave. So when they get that ping, they're going to be like, someone is either on B plat or someone is in the cave. So I'm going to go push cave because I see that on my radar. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go invis, which will take me off radar. I'm going to go onto B, and I'm going to jump over the ravine, and I'm going to flank someone that's going into dark. Because they're going to be drawn to my smoke into a close quarters combat, and I'm going to be off radar flanking them. Night Stalker is very good at pulling off these plays, but you have to constantly think about what your opponent is going to do. It has nothing to do with what you can do. It has everything to do with how you can trick your opponent into doing what they want and punishing them for it. So if you want to make like the memeing high IQ plays, be a Night Stalker. Otherwise, be a top tree Arc Strider, because you get to double melee people, and everyone loves double meleeing. Throw your grenade, dodge, melee, dodge, double melee the next guy. You get this really nice like combat flow where, one, you don't really need to use your weapons all that much, and two, it's fun, and the super's amazing. And then Warlock, for aggressive play, I only recommend Devour, Devour and Voidlock, because you get rewarded for killing people, and you can aggressively push into players that are weak with the rest of their team, because you know as soon as you kill them, you're getting all your health back with Devour active. So don't be stingy with using your Devour. Don't wait until you're weak to use it. Use it when you're at full health. Eat the grenade. You have 10 seconds to kill someone. Use that 10 seconds to get into an immediate engagement. Run straight at someone, who cares? But because if you kill that first person, you're going to have all that health back for the next guy. And the next guy that was team-shotting you is probably not going to have enough ammo to kill you anymore, especially if they're using an SMG. Normally, because people miss, no one has perfect aim. Those SMGs are going to run out of ammo before they can actually kill you after you've devoured. In the montage that I have, there's a clip where I slide out on Fortress into the cave outside A. And I kill a guy, I have Devour active, and there's 3 guys in there. I kill the first guy, I get Devour. I melee the second guy, I get Devour again. And the third guy actually runs out of ammo, and that's the reason why I can kill him. It's because he runs out of ammo. I had too much health. And so those are the kind of plays that you want to put yourself in if you want to be super aggressive. It's very hard, takes a lot of time to be good at it. And really the most important thing is, like I said before, be okay with dying, because you're just going to keep dying over and over again until you get it down.
What's your auto rifle of choice? Asking for a friend.
So there's an auto rifle that I want to use and want to recommend, but I don't know if it's good because I don't have it yet. But what I normally use is the number. Any 450 is still really good. As far as 600s go, hard light is really good, even with the screen shake. You just have to ignore the screen shake because the reticle is actually very accurate. It doesn't move very much. Mm-hmm. You got to trust your aim with hard light. The other one is Martyr's Make. It has ricochet rounds. It shoots really far. It's really good. The one that I don't have that I would recommend, but I'm hesitant on because it could be bad. It's Hollow Earth, which is the Dead Orbit Vice rifle.
Yeah.
And that's just because it has Zen Moment on it. And on a high fire rate weapon, Zen Moment is really, really good because it's hard to stay on target as it is with those kind of weapons. So anything that helps that out, especially if it makes it a laser beam, is good. And I know that No Calamity for 600s has Zen Moment on it, and that thing does become a laser beam if you can stay on your target. So
yeah,
if it functions the same with Hollow Earth, I would recommend Hollow Earth as well. And that also ties in, like, Hollow Earth would be the perfect auto to go with an aggressive loadout because you have to be closer with it than you do other auto rifles.
Okay, just making sure I put all that down. Thank you.
And there could be some hot new thing in Warmind too. So
oh yeah,
can't count any of that out.
Last question from Tim K. Trotter. Best famous music artist contributing to an original track for a video game.
I'm gonna be honest, I don't know off the top of my head very many famous artists that contribute to video games.
Des, you got one?
Well, beyond, I guess, one of the more obvious ones being Michael Jackson, that was originally composing the music for Sonic 3. And the fact that their Casino Night Zone or something, was it Sonic 3 or Sonic 2? Crap. Either way, but there's a whole thing about it, but you can still like get a feel, like you can still hear like the Michael Jackson flavors in, like I said, the Casino Night Zone. But also, the game is hot garbage. It was back on the SNES. Rise of the Robots was a fighting game, but had apparently had music done by Brian May, the lead guitarist for Queen, and the music for it was actually pretty. It was probably the best thing about it.
I'm gonna say Revolution X. If you guys remember that, it's a arcade rail shooter, and the music was done by Aerosmith.
Oh yeah.
And the Rescue Aerosmith.
Yeah, I remember that now. Oh my god.
I had to go deep. I'm sorry. I was going to say Fistful of Nickels just as a joke because I love that song. Thank you, Dad, for cluing me into that.
Oh, yeah.
Now, I'm just going to say it right now. Between you, Keen, and Burrs being on last week, you're kind of making me want to play PvP more. Because I have said, I'm not really into PvP in Destiny. And then I realized last night while playing with Dez and Drafty and J-Devil and Munch, and I think we had one more, and I apologize if I forget you.
Actually, I think that was it.
I thought we had 5. No, we might have had 4. Whatever it was.
I think
numbers.
It was 4, I think.
Numbers.
If you were there and we forgot you, sorry.
I'm sorry.
We have horrible memories.
13 concussions, blame the CTE. But, that is where I remember, that's where I love playing PvP with a team, because, you're laughing it up, you're having fun. But you play solo mostly, right?
I do, yeah. I would say 70 to 80% of my games I'm solo, and then the other 20% are either trials or with friends. I don't really run stacked very often.
How do you keep your... I mean, obviously there is a skill difference between you and I, and, Des, we're in the decent category together. Both of us agree to that.
Yeah, straight average.
But together, we're good. I'll give it that.
I can say that.
When you and I play together, yeah, because you're, and when I saw the question about being aggressive, I'm like, yeah, please tell me if I'm doing this right. And then you said top tree defender, and I'm like, I'm doing this right. I'm doing this so good. because, defender, I'm throwing suppression nades, running in, hope for the best, see what happens. Oh, crap, I'm in trouble, drop the bubble, and see what happens, like I said. But when I played, I mean, it might just be because I have that unhealthy competitive streak, and you said it, you have to be okay with dying and losing. And I don't think I have that in me, so I have to break that habit. But yeah, just by the way you're talking, man, I'm like, I could get back into some PvP. I could definitely do PvP. I could do it. So.
I think the anxiety factor is something that you got to build up. And I've been playing competitively in both physical sports and in video games for a very long time now. I mean, I'm almost 30. I've been playing video games since I was 4. It's a long time for me to develop calluses on my mind for how to deal with loss and how to deal with frustration and anxiety and all that stuff. But I think it really is just important that you learn how to lose, and that's something that I think some people don't learn when they grow up. They don't learn how to lose either with grace or just properly. Or that it's okay when someone trash talks to you, or it's okay when someone tries to get on your nerves, because it's on you to let that affect you. They can do whatever they want, but if you let it get you upset, like that's your own fault, and that's your own fault for having a weak will. And that's kind of harsh to say, but like if you can't handle being trash talked or you can't handle losing, then don't play PvP, or don't subject yourself to situations where you're going to feel bad at the end of it. Like, that's the worst thing you can do. No one wants to play a video game and be like, I wasted my time. I wish I could get that time back. That's a very valid frustration to have. But it's also on you to stop doing those activities that make you feel bad. Like, provide, like, in the case of Destiny, like, if PvP frustrates you, provide that feedback. Why does it frustrate you? Is it because you can't win? Is it because it's too hard to hit shots? Like, where is it coming from? Don't just say, I hate it. Say why you hate it. And it's easy to connect with you on a human level if you're like, I hate this, but, I feel like time to kill is too long because I don't feel as powerful. Mm-hmm. Like, how does it make you feel? Like, and why does you feel that way? Like, do you feel like, something is just too hard to master? And then Bungie can be like, okay, we have all this feedback where the game is too difficult to play. How can we tune it back? How can we make it more fun to play? And then it's on them to try to interpret your feelings. And if they get it wrong, they get it wrong. How many times do you interpret someone's feelings and get it right? In your own life, and now you got to do it for millions of people playing your game. I do not envy their job.
For sure.
But I mean, you just gotta work at it, and you have to go into every game, especially solo, thinking, am I trying to win this game or am I trying to learn something? Because if you're trying to learn something, it doesn't matter if you win or not. It matters that you try to accomplish what you're trying to get done. So like, if I go into a game of like, today I'm going to practice on slide engagements, and every engagement I'm going to get into, I'm going to slide out first and I'm going to start shooting. If I lose that engagement, I'm going to think, what went wrong with that engagement? Did I slide out too soon? Did I slide out not far enough? Was my aim off? And then I can go immediately into the next engagement being like, okay, my aim was a little off. Let's tighten that up. Let's focus on my reticle. Or I slid out too far. All right, let's be a little more conservative with like where I'm starting my slide. And if you go in it to win, again, be okay with losing. Your goal is still to win, but there's a high probability you're going to lose, especially as a solo player. So be realistic about what might happen. But then, push yourself. Be like, all right, the only way we're going to win this, if we're down, X points, is if we play really aggressive, if we cap all the points, and we get a lot of kills. So what can I do to help facilitate that? And then just do that. If it doesn't pan out, it doesn't matter. You did your job. Like, you did what you were supposed to do to try to win. So it's just all about your mentality, and then practicing what you need to practice.
Right.
A lot of that is just hitting more shots. I think it's dumb to hear all the time, but really, if you didn't miss any shots, you wouldn't have much to complain about.
It might have called back, like, one of my favorite things about you, Keen, is the fact that you are certainly not afraid to talk straight and basically tell it how it is.
If people want to get better, You can't sugarcoat that,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
It's hard. Everything about this game is hard. Like, it's hard to win a 1v1. It's hard to move around the map the correct way. It's hard to learn how a map's supposed to work. It's hard to deal with a colony. Like, these are all very hard things to do. But, like, if it was easy, no one would care.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it just calls back, stumbling, I guess giving a bit also of history, but yeah, stumbling across your Art of War books and like your posts on Crucible Playbook. Yeah. And just seeing you type out, it's like, or it was something about scrub mentality for sure. And I was like, you know what? It's like people think it's this way, but to be complaining about this and just complaining without like trying to learn to get better is like, no, you are actually the scrub. And I read that and it's like, oh my God, a lot of people might think them as fighting words, but it's nice.
It's okay to be a scrub. Like, it's okay. All of us were there at one point in our life or another, whether it be in a game or not. Like, I can remember plenty of games, like, I played soccer a lot growing up, and plenty of games were like, I can't run fast enough because I always I can't play well enough because they always make me offsides because they just wait for me to run past them, and that's stupid. I don't like that. And I was a scrub then too. Like, if I just didn't run as fast or just waited and was more patient, then I wouldn't get an offside call. It's the same thing. Like, if you stop, you relax, and you think about what you're doing, then you might figure out what the real answer is, and then they're just trying to beat you, right? They're doing everything in their power to beat you. There's nothing wrong with that.
You see, it's funny that you said, like, when you go into a match, you think, okay, do I want to win this or do I want to do X? For me, most of the time, it's, if I win, it's going to be cool, but I really want to suppress somebody out of their super. Or I wear the helmet scene 14. It probably isn't going to come off my head until the armamentarium drops. Just going to tell you. My thing is now, like, instead of throwing the shield, I want to land into an engagement, block, blind them, and then smash them out. Use the exotic use the exotic perk to my benefit, or block a super with the shield, which is also super fun. So, like, when Des and I were playing, we were in, was it Distant? It might have been Distant Shores or whatever it's called now. I jumped in the air, dropped my shield, landed in between two guys, put my shield up. I didn't see the golden gun, but luckily my shield blocked it because the thing has a pretty decent block radius in front of you. Smashed him, then turned around and noticed the golden gun, who subsequently shot me in the face, but I still blocked one, so mission accomplished.
Yeah.
But it was still, I guess I gotta land more shots, like you said. But using an auto rifle, you kind of miss a couple shots every once in a while.
Yeah.
But I'm getting there. Have you been chasing? I mean, you did mention the DFA. Have you been chasing the other exotic weapons?
This week I've been trying to get duty bound, but I'm never really I'm not super invested in getting something unless it's like it really clicks with me. Like, the reason I did like a dozen Nightfalls or something to get DFA, and I wanted to get it. So if it took me longer, I would have taken longer. But as far as like duty bound goes, my kinetic slot, especially after Warmind, is going to be the Huckleberry, and that's not going anywhere. So my concern right now is trying to get Hollow Earth because I really want to use Hollow Earth, but I can't get it. So as far as the grind for me now, it's kind of off and on. I will grind if the gun is good and people are like, this is really good, I'll give it a go. I've tried every single gun in the game between console and PC. So when I recommend a gun, it's because I've tried it against all the other ones, and that's just the one that jives with me. It might not be the best, but it's the one that clicks. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I grind as much as you would think an average player would grind. Okay. I don't think I'm, as far as PvE goes, or as far as like playing the game goes, I don't think I'm any different from anyone else. My playtime actually isn't as much as a lot of people think. I probably play an hour and a half to 2 hours every night or every other night. And then on the weekends, I don't even play very much because normally I have a lot going on, especially with my house and my animals, and my wife. So it's just, yeah. My game time or my play time probably matches like an average or a below average player, where I just kind of sit down and do whatever. I just happen to have spent a lot of time practicing hitting my shots. I think that's the only thing that separates me, is that when I do sit down and play the game, what I'm doing is all deliberate. Whether it be I'm deliberately trying to play for fun or I'm deliberately trying to learn how to do something. I always have a goal in mind. It's never just, mindlessly playing a video game.
Okay. Des, did you get the duty bound?
Yeah.
How many times? How many nightfall runs did it take you?
Actually, probably only, I'd say about a dozen, really, only. Because as my tragedy with DFA went, where I was doing nightfalls every possible moment, letting Buster know my login information just in case he could squeeze in a few more nightfalls while I was stuck at work.
Not a joke. Serious.
Not a joke.
Not a joke.
After probably close to 100 nightfalls, I lost count, but it had to have been close to, like I said, it was probably realistically around 70, but I don't know because I lost count. I never got it. It kind of crushed me, that reset, and it's like, you know what? If Duty Bound comes up, I know Buster's going to grind for it. I want that gun as well, but I'm not going that crazy for it again. I'm going to do my nightfalls, and if the people I'm with want to keep grinding, I'll keep helping. If there's someone out there that's looking for, someone else to grind nightfalls, I'll help. And if I don't get it, I don't get it. And it just so happens that on one of our last run, just before starting the raid last night, it was our last run, and took down Savathun Song, and I noticed out of the chest there was a purple. It's like, oh? I went over it, and hilariously, it actually didn't show up in my loot feed. And I'm like, what's going on? I don't see a legendary engram pop up. I just saw... all I saw was just a bunch of tokens pop up, and it's like, so what was that? So I checked my inventory, and there's that Masterwork 330 Duty Bound just sitting in my kinetics. Like, nice.
Well, let me tell you a little story. This story started at reset. Dez sends me a message, as he's ought to do often on Discord. Savathun Song is the Nightfall.
Which, shout out to Subcult, because that's where I saw it.
Yeah. I think my response was, and now my addiction starts.
Yeah.
Or something similar to that. Oh, wait, here it is. The message reads, "Song is Nightfall." That's it. I said, oh, well, now my addictive self kicks in. And Des, of course, laughs. So, I said 50. I was wrong. It was like 70. In that region, I did a tick mark because I was insane. Jared Von Kell got one before me while he was helping me. Sully got his second to drop.
Oh God! So it was like DFA.
Yeah,
me.
Several other people got theirs. So I was like, I'm a 4-leaf clover. It's cool. I'm a 4-leaf clover. Somebody actually mentioned oh crap, I got one. That's super cool. And I'm like, yeah. I'm running it again. I ran solo, I ran duos, I ran prestiges, I ran 3-stacks, I ran every possible singe. By the way, Void is not the one to go to.
No,
I tried to explain that to people, but whatever. We still passed it, but it was tough.
Oh yeah.
So, on my, I was like, okay, cool. This is just my DFA. This is my DFA. Maybe Des cursed me. It was a thinner. Never getting duty bound. I think you mentioned that too. Ha ha ha. In my head, I'm thinking, man, I should just text it. I should just message Des my login information just in case he gets a chance to run it.
Totally would have.
I know. Legit, I'm going to do that anyway. So I'm like, okay, cool. Drafty hops in. It was me and Sully running. Sully, shout out to you, buddy. You ran probably solid 30 Nightfalls with me this week. So Drafty hops in. Like, we're running a 2-man. And he's like, hey, do you guys have opening? Send him an invite. He hops in. We run through it. Didn't drop. Think it might have... No, it didn't drop for Drafty either. But it definitely, I now know it's a triangle. It's a purple triangle that drops out of the chest. That's how you know. We run it again. Just a normal. Because I can't be bothered with doing prestiges anymore. I can, because that emblem is dope. But we're running. Boom. Drafty hops in. I'm streaming at the time just because, I wanted to test out the new... Comcast sent me an email saying, hey, we boost your speeds. I said, oh, really? Let's see what happens. So I have one viewer, and I'm like, all right, viewer, you're in for a treat. I might rage. Because I'm like, this is my last one. So I run through. Boom. Drop Savathun. I get a purple. Not the purple I wanted. He pops the chest. I see it in the air. I see that purple triangle fly in the air. And I'm like, okay, cool. That's probably just another emblem variant. And then I run over it and I look at the top of my screen and I see duty bound with an X through it because I have my kinetics are full. I deleted something. I don't know what I deleted. It was something. Quick. It might have been a crimson. I have several. It doesn't matter. And it pops up. And Des, you probably know what happened next.
Oh, God. Probably the most epic of hype explosions.
Oh, I went crazy. I called Drafty my good luck charm. I looked at the camera. I said, you, viewer, you're my good luck charm. Drafty said, hey, that's me. I said, cool. Drafty's my double good luck charm. I might have told the game to suck my dick from the back. I went crazy, okay? I went nuts. Like, straight. I went from me to Buster Knuckle real quick, okay? So I went from Mike to Buster in an instant. And then I'm sitting here. I'm like, cool, Drafty, do you have it? He's like, no. I was like, all right, cool. We'll run it. Let's go. And he's like, do you have your Legend of Acreus yet? I'm like, no, I don't. He's like, you know what? I want to run that instead. I said, whatever you want to do. Ran that, got Legends of Acreus. So, having a great day. I get a drop, an illuminated engram. I got several, actually, this week. Thank you, Nightfall.
Oh, and, sure. Yeah.
Thanks, Nightfall, and the Fire Team Medallion. And then I got Ikora's Resolve and the Cosmos Shell. So I'm like, you know what? I put my hands up. I'm like, you know what? End Season 2 on a high note. We're good to go. So I like Duty Bound.
Yeah, hilariously, the person it was actually a newer person I met through Drafty and through our raids. Sneak Kitty from DRP. Hilariously, like, we have kind of an interesting interaction, me and her, because she hated me because I had a full raid set, and she wants a full raid set. And so, as we were just talking, and of course, in the middle of all of my DFA grinding, she's like, oh yeah, I got one. It's like, you're going to hate me, but I don't really care for it. And it's like, it's all right. I'm used to it by now. And because I was telling about Duty Bound, at that point in time, and that was, a few weeks ago. But she's probably as voracious for Duty Bound as you are, Buster. She really wants that gun, and it was actually her. I was helping doing Nightfalls before our raid to get Duty Bound. So yeah, it just kind of mentions I got Duty Bound, and she's oh my god, she just screams like, I hate you. It's like, sorry, but this is payback for DFA.
Yeah, it was. In my head, I was really. I was like, you know what? If this is it, this is it. I'm just saying, I was like, if it happens, it happens, and I was fully gonna grind it today and tomorrow. I'm gonna tell you, I haven't picked up Sea of Thieves in a week, and I was like, man, I'll give time. Nope, Destiny's like heroin. It really is. It's like you go away from it, and then you're like, I'm okay. I sprained my ankle. Let me take this pill, and then you're back doing heroin the next day. Like, I literally was like, I got this. I can do one more. I know the voice lines for the fucking Sabathun song. Like, I was saying it as I was playing it.
Yep.
And one of the funniest moments is we were talking. After you play the strike for so many times, you start spacing out and just I know how to do this jump shoot type thing. So we were talking, and we were talking about exotics we want to come back, and I'm a fusion rifle player, Telesto all day, and I was like, you know what, I really want that rapid fire fusion to come back, and everybody's like, oh, the Mythoclast. I'm like, no, the other one, and they're like, there was no other one. I'm like, yes, there was. And then the conversation, we kept going. And in my head, because I'm a psycho, I was like, meta, if you with my pocket infinity. I did the Duba rap in my head. And then I said, oh, it's pocket infinity. And they were like, how did you remember that? I'm like, I did the Duba rap. So, Duba, thank you for that one. But it was, I mean, the conversations that you have in Destiny are like none other. It really is like the most fun, like the some of the best conversations you have. You know, you hear some weird shit, but I mean, especially when you play with me, you hear weird stuff because I say weird stuff. So, Keen, I have a question for you, sir.
All right.
You tweeted out that you were going to be on the show. By the way, thank you for that.
I did. Yeah, no problem.
At the very bottom, you happen to mention an upcoming project.
Yeah, because also Birds told us a hint, hint, wink, wink. Ask about boot camp.
Yeah. First of all, Birds, you son of a bitch. You weren't supposed to tell anyone about this.
Thank you, Birds.
Oh, also, I do have a before you get into that, because you can answer honestly, it's fine. But okay, did Birds warn you about the question, or did you actually listen to the Birds episode?
I listened to the Birds episode. Okay, he didn't tell me anything.
Okay.
It was that Monday. It was Monday or Wednesday. I want to say it was Wednesday or Tuesday because I normally listen to CR on Monday on my way to work. So Tuesday on my way to work, I was listening to RNGCast because I knew Birds was on it, and then it gets to that part where it's like, a kid's gonna hate me for this, but like, oh my god, we had like. It couldn't have been more than 2 or 3 days before that. I was like telling him like, hey, this is what I'm gonna do. What do you think about it? Because I trust Birds. Birds was a big influence on me for even doing boot camp at the beginning because I had this idea and I was like, let me run this idea by you. What do you think about this? Birds is just one of those people that I think like when I do reviews, I'm like, Birds is going to watch this and he's going to enjoy it, and that's all that matters. Like, I like my friends, like that kind of thing. So yeah, I buy him, and I didn't know he was going to talk to other people about it because it was still a work in progress. It still is a work in progress. But now I'm on like, I don't know, an invisible time clock. So no, he didn't tell me. It was a complete surprise. I'm still a little salty about it.
I'm sorry, but that just makes it even better. Okay.
Yeah.
So we're getting a boot camp season 2?
We are getting Boot Camp Season 2. Yes. That is the project I've been working on. The montage was a sort of primer from some of the techniques I'm going to be using. So I'll give you the basic rundown. I'm not going to tell you what's changing as far as content, but I'll give you the basic rundown. So before Season 1, everything was focused on, I live streamed it. I would cut the live stream. That would be boot camp. I would do a bunch of like work offline with like watching it, coming up with a lesson plan for what I wanted people to learn from it, coming up with a couple major points, and then just sort of, going into maps, showing all these different things. And it was very dense, right? I still go back and I watch old episodes, and I think I could have done so many things better. And I've taken that. I have a full notebooks of stuff that was like, okay, this episode, this could have been better, or don't do this next time. And watching from the beginning to the end of season 1, I did get better at it, but there was a lot that I wanted to change about it. Yeah. The most important thing I wanted to change was the amount of time it takes you to watch the episode, because an hour and a half to 2 hours, that's a long time commitment. And I had a lot of people, a surprising amount of people to me, watch the full thing all the time. I was like, man, what are you guys doing for an hour and a half? Like, are you actually watching this? Do you have it on in the background? Like, I don't know. I don't know.
As someone who did watch full episodes, I can say, yeah, it was my entire attention. I give you credit for my KD in Destiny 1 going up to a point 9.7 or 9.8. So,
well, I appreciate that. It's always nice to hear people improve.
Right.
But yeah, I just it still blows my mind because like I watch them and even I get bored. I'm just like, man, it's kind of going kind of slow right now. or it's just like I don't have time to watch this whole thing. So I sat down and I was like, okay, how can I make this more effective for people that are watching? So I have cut the time from, let's say, an hour and a half plus to 30 minutes. Every episode will be around the 30-minute mark. Okay. I will no longer be live streaming the Crucible Bootcamp episodes. I will still do a live stream critique. It's going to be on the weekend now, so more people can watch it, because I know that was a critique a lot of people had, was like, I want to be there for the live stuff, but it doesn't work for my time zone, because I'm West Coast and everything here. No one's West Coast. Everyone's Central or Eastern. No one lives out here, apparently. Only me and Bungie are the only ones out here.
And birds, right?
Yeah,
birds and bones?
Birds and bones. So yeah, my times never match up with my friends. They're all over the place.
Yeah.
So yeah, down to 30 minutes. The first 10 minutes will be me basically cold critiquing someone's a gameplay, just like I used to, except there won't be any pauses. I'm not going to pause. It'll just be me quickly pointing things out vocally. Like, hey, look to your right. Here, like, I made a poor push, and this is why. And then we're just going to immediately move past that because the match is going to keep going on. And then after that is where all the post-production stuff comes into play. Because I'm not doing this live anymore. There's a lot of things that I'm going to be doing offline, producing the episodes. That's going to be very different. It's going to be a more inclusive message. You're not going to feel like I'm talking at you anymore. The whole feel, I explained this to Birds, and this won't spoil anything, but it's going to feel like an episode of Sesame Street. And you laugh now, you'll probably laugh later. I don't know if it's going to work or not. I have very high hopes for it. The first episode will probably be like pretty rough while I try to figure everything out. But it's still going to be in that half-hour time slot. But it's the message is gonna be more condensed, and it's gonna be a more heavy focus on the 3 wrap-up points that I would make at the end of the episode. That's gonna be the majority of the 15 to 20 minutes after the initial review, is gonna be those 3 points and really diving deep into why they matter and pulling out 1 or 2 specific parts of the gameplay to focus on, as opposed to thanks to your gameplay, here's how you play Burning Shrine. Those will be completely separate videos, standalone stuff. There's going to be a lot more like, here's how you backpedal, and then like a quick 1 minute, 30-second to 1 minute video of just like, here's how you backpedal, here's why it matters, and try to do a lot of this stuff weekly or even daily for some of them. And just having more of a presence of like getting the information that I know out into more bite-sized pieces, because you can go back and watch any one of the Crucible Bootcamp episodes, and you can get way too much information. Like you could watch the same episode 3 times and get 3 different things out of it. So rather than that, force you to do that, I'll just give you a 1 minute video where it's like, okay, you want to learn how to shotgun well? Here's a technique how to shotgun. You want to learn how to slide well? Here's a technique how to slide. Here's a technique how to jump in the air. And just these very basic things that I think a lot of people take for granted, and just break it down into, these bite-sized lessons where it's like, okay, I have a 5-minute break. Let me watch today's tip video. So a lot of that is in the pipeline. A lot of that will be very easy for me because I've done a lot of video editing so far with both the montage and then what I've been working on already. So it'll be good. It'll be very informative for people, and if nothing else, I'm excited about it. And if the content creators are excited about it, I don't know what more you can ask for.
All right.
I'm excited for it. Now, when you said Sesame Street, I instantly thought in my head, you're going to get like a triple down and be like, 1 Titan, ah. I know you're not going to do it, but in my weird Buster head, that's what happened. So that's why when you said it, I giggled.
Let's just say you're not completely wrong. It's a little off the mark, but it's in the spirit. Yeah.
Yeah. That does sound amazing, though.
No.
I'm gonna try to get my wife involved.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Always a fun time.
Yeah. She said she's wanted to get involved for a while, so I have a unique role for her in these videos. I think she'll enjoy it. I hope she'll enjoy it. I guess let's put it that way.
Now, I have another idea. I have an idea I want to just, spitball out to you here.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just say you were to do a series with 2 average players, okay? One might happen to be a Titan main, and one might happen to be a hunter who likes to use Golden Gun.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just say names to be changed to protect the innocent. Smez, Raven, and Duster Knuckle. Now, if one was to maybe say, hey, let's just take these 2 average players and make them better, we could just say as a team. Right, Des?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. What would you suggest for these 2 guys, Smez and Duster, to get, obviously play more together, right?
Yeah, but this is a little bit more than just sheer playtime. This is an involved question. It's a loaded question. And I think you're trying to get me to commit to something.
Oh, I'm not. Allegedly, sir. Alleged. Let's use the proper terminology. I'm not trying to get you to commit to anything. I would just like to know, what would you suggest to these 2 gentlemen to improve their play style together?
Okay, so I'll give you 2 quick tips. And these I would highly suggest to any team that approaches me and be like, how do we play better as a team? The first is you need to designate a shot caller. Now, not every team needs a shot caller, but the best way to improve is for one guy to make all the mistakes. And so what the concept of a shot caller to me, and on a lot of teams, is that you have one guy deciding where you're going to move before any engagements happen and why you're moving there. So let's go. We've been using distance shore. Let's go to burnout. So we're on burnout. Let's say it's control, AC inside, B on the lower mid platform. Mm-hmm. Your shot caller would be like, all right, we're spawning A. Let's ignore B. Let's go right to C and challenge, through bridge. Let's challenge through the background room. Let's challenge through their spawn. And let's just hold AC the whole time. And so the team decides, all right, I'm going bridge. And the other guy's, I'm going round room. The other guy's going, I'm going to hold up top bridge and look to see if anyone's going to be. And so the shot caller made the call, this is our strategy. And then it's on the players to execute it, to give call-outs, all that stuff. So, and then as soon as the engagement finishes, the shot caller will be like, all right, we won the engagement. We have A and C. Let's have a 2-2 split. Let's have 2 you go B plat. Let's have 2 you go A plat, and let's just cover the side entrances. And if they push forward through B, let's go rotate back to bridge, and then we'll challenge them there. And then that's the call. Everybody goes to their positions. You go back to your normal call-outs. Hey, 2 C side or 3 C side, 1 come help, or all C side, push into B and help me out, get a flank. And so that shot caller just makes the decisions before anything happens. So I designate one guy to do that. The other thing, aside from the obvious, like, hey, play more together, is do activities together that require that kind of coordination, not in PvP. So strikes, but make call-outs and strikes. Or a raid, and have a raid leader. And really and the raid leader being your shot caller is good because that person is going to get used to talking. Don't be afraid to switch up the shot caller. Not everyone's good at it. Just because you're good at callouts doesn't mean you're a good shot caller. Just because you're a good shot caller doesn't mean you're good at callouts. And focus on building up those communication skills, because that's really everything that you would need as an individual player, gun skill, decision making. That's stuff that isn't affected as much by your team, right? Your team doesn't pick up your controller and shoot for you.
Yeah.
So that's stuff you have to do on your own. But the stuff that gives the team the advantage over the individual is always communication based. It's always, how can we outmaneuver? How can we outplay? And just being able to talk and give perfect information, or a perfect strategy, or a better strategy. That's how you do it. So for you guys, Duster Knuckle, get a shot caller and just work more on communication in more than one aspect of the game. And the strike thing is really weird, but it will work if you're like, hey, I have this night week over here. Come help me out. Or like, I'm surrounded. Please give me a barrier. Because you'd be surprised at like, if all of a sudden you have two barriers around you and where initially you might have died, and it's no stakes, right? You die in a strike, it's whatever. But if all of a sudden you're not dying and you're shaving off, 10 seconds off your strike time, like that's nice, right?
Yeah, and actually legitimately saying that could be one key of why this Smez and Duster actually do play as well as they do together in PvP.
Yeah, I mean, players that raid together and then play strikes together, they end up making good trials teams. Huh. They really do. Like, they might not be the best players, but they make good decisions together and they work well together. And that's something that you can't really replicate on your own.
Sounds like these guys should do a podcast together.
Maybe.
I mean, Escalation Protocol would be a good way to also do that, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I've heard a lot of things about Escalation Protocol, and communication is going to be very good for that.
For sure.
Who gets the Valkyrie, who runs around and kills XYZ, what kind of loadout you're using, a lot of decision making in that, and it's going to be hard. Everyone I've talked to says it's hard. So, and apparently they made it harder. So,
I know, right?
God forbid.
So yeah, we squeezed in even more difficulty thanks to feedback. It's like, oh, thanks.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate that. When I'm smashing my head against the desk going, how do I do this? And then I realize, and I'm like, I did it. Okay, I'm good. So, Des, do you have any other Destiny topics, or do you want to slide into the back end other fun stuff we talk about?
Well, I do have one question that kind of, because you mentioned roles like, anchor and those being aggressive. Like, would there be a way for a player that doesn't quite know, like, they have a general play style, sure, but like, how can you discover like really the role, like, I guess you're made for, to a degree?
All right, so if I was, let's take a normal fire team and let me give them 4 roles. So you'd have an anchor at the bottom and you'd have a shot caller at the top. So those are 2 roles. So in the middle, one of those is going to be a support role and one of those is going to be a slayer role. I think those would be the 4 roles you would have on a team. Yeah. So top to bottom, the shot caller we already went over, makes high-level tactical decisions, team movement, things like that. Most important thing about a shot caller is that your team listens to you, even when you're wrong. You as a shot caller are not going to learn if you made a bad call unless you get punished for it, and your team will punish you for making bad calls. The Slayer, that's your player that picks up power. That's your player that gets the most kills, has the highest KD, the most reliable, consistent player. That's just your general, that's the guy that's going to kill everyone. The support is the guy that follows around the Slayer and either cleans up their kills or functions as a meat wall for the Slayer to clean up after they've done a little bit of damage. I think the support player is if you take out the communication aspect, I think the support player is the most important player on the team. I think giving your Slayer the space and the time to do their job is very underrated. And as a support player, if you know that you're the guy that's going to help someone get a bunch of kills, it's never not satisfying. It's never sad when you die, because if you die and your Slayer then gets a triple down or your Slayer gets a double kill, then if they get a double kill, it's even. If they win a 1v1, get their health back, and then can push again and you're back up, it's even. So giving that time and that space and in a sandbox where team shooting and team play is paramount to winning, period, that's going to be your linchpin for whether or not you're going to win the match. And then at the bottom you have the anchor. The anchor is all about reducing the amount of chaos in the game. The anchor is the guy that, like I said, sits in the back of the map. He holds down your spawn point. He doesn't let people flip spawns. He doesn't let people flank you, and or they don't let people flank you, and they're just consistent, right? you don't have to worry about your anchor dying, or you don't have to worry about your anchor giving up their position unless they absolutely have to, right? If you're getting pushed by 3 people as the anchor, you just make the call, hey, 3 are flanking, I need help. And then, everyone rotates to you, they clean it up, they push back to their original angles, and the anchor goes back to making sure no one flanks. The most important thing about an anchor is letting your team know when they're over pushing. Because if you're at B and you're pushing into A and you guys are holding BC, your anchor should be like, hey, you guys are too far. Like, get your kills, come back, because people are going to be spawning right on top of me, and then we could potentially, lose our advantage.
Yeah. So
those would be the 4 roles for a team that I would say. There's some like specialized roles, like your Slayer could also, or your support player could also be a disruptor, which means that the space that they create is more disruptive in nature and less like meat shieldy, where the disruptor would be more of a flanker, right? You flank, you get a lot of attention on you, your Slayer comes up and shoots everyone in the back. Instead of, as a support player, I would push up in the lane, we would lane, I would be the guy in front taking the brunt of the damage, and then the Slayer would be behind me, picking off whoever I get weak. Or in a crossfire angle, but generally forward facing instead of in the back, like a flank would.
Okay.
This is just in like a team deathmatch kind of scenario, not involving like capturing points and whatnot.
Oh no, it would be any game type. Like you still need a Slayer for countdown. You still need a Slayer for control. It's just the leash that Slayer is on shrinks or gets larger depending on the game mode. Like if you're playing Supremacy, that Slayer can do whatever the hell they want, because you have to push up to the crest to get that point. So you're always going to be moving. But if you're playing Control, that Slayer needs to stay at the midpoint line of the map. You need to hold your 2 points, and their job is to, hold B, or their job is to pick people off spawn, or their job is to pick up power and then wait for someone to show up on a point to try to cap it to get that second point, and then they show up with a rocket, or they show up with colony, or they show up with whatever they're using, and push that power advantage. The Slayer just needs to know how to exploit those positions where they have a lot of ability to make solo plays. Like when they have their super up, if you're constantly giving your Slayer power, then for one thing, you never have to worry about power being wasted, because the Slayer will use it and at least get 1 or 2 kills for free. Mm-hmm. And you can use that as a team to collapse. You can use that as a team to swap spawns, whatever your shot caller wants to do. The issue that I always see with teams is that whoever's next to power picks it up, and there's no tactical decision about it. It's just like there's some positions where it's like, we have to pick up power right now, or they're going to get it. I picked it up. But if you can help it, like give the person that's going to use it the best the power. Mm-hmm. It's okay that you don't get as many kills if you win. The point is to win. The point is to not have a high KD. There's plenty of games where I've played and I've been sub 1 KD or even sub 1 KDA, and I felt satisfied with my gameplay because I did my job. And you just can't worry about stats. You have to worry about getting a W or an L at the end.
So basically, like, one also big tip just for people looking to improve in general is not worry about KD, get the W.
Yeah, and as you improve, it'll naturally go up.
Yeah.
Like, I'm on top of a lot of my lobbies because I'm focused more on how am I moving around the map, can I hit my shots, than, can I preserve my KD by sitting in the back pecking away at people to get assists.
Yeah. That makes sense.
I've actually started watching a lot of my games too. Win or lose, I'll just save the clip, save it. That way I can go back and watch and be like, see, I didn't even look. A lot of times when in the moment you don't notice things, and then when you watch it again, you're like, oh, I saw him. I saw him look down the scope of that sniper rifle that took my head off the second later. And I mean, that's everybody who's high level in Crucible says, watch your gameplay. And I just started recently doing that again. And
yeah, play less, watch more is good advice always. Like I try to watch a game from every session. Like I try to save one game, whether it's a good game or a bad game. It doesn't really matter because you're gonna figure out what you were doing wrong no matter what you look at.
Yeah.
I mean, it's also fun to hear the chat back again. With fresh ears. Like, why did we talk about that?
Yeah.
then you realize, like, you make call out. Like, I have that problem. I don't look at the top of the screen to see what the call out is. I just say whatever I think it is. And I'm like, I should probably fix that.
Well, if your team recognizes, like, I know that dark in Distant Shore, I think it's the call out is tunnel on the map itself. Mm-hmm. If your team understands what you're talking about, that's all that matters. Yes, it makes it easier for you to look at the name under your radar, but if you just know, like, hey, this is waterfall and not cave, then people know what's going on. That's all that matters.
Okay. I still kind of feel bad because I'll, like,
it's definitely a good baseline though to learn, like, the general map callouts that are built in.
Yeah, because what you call dark, I call rocks. The center cave, I always called it rocks. And I mean, some people understand. I mean, then again, it also is people who I played with for a while who know, like, my weird call outs. But when I want to say random, but when somebody who doesn't play a lot of PvP with me gets in, and I, like, I don't know, I call it, like, circle room, roundabout. They're like, what? And I'm like, circle. And then they're like, oh, okay, cool, circle, I get it. And I'm like, it's a roundabout, but that's what it is. It has 3 ways in, and you can, kind of do Keystone Cops with it. That's why I call it that. But it's always fun hearing other people's call-outs as well. So, so, Keen, what other games do you play other than Destiny?
Let's see. Recently, I have played a lot of Overwatch. I have played a lot of. I still play a hardcore character every season in Diablo 3. Nice. Let's see. I played Doki Doki Literature Club. I actually loved that game. I'm looking forward to the game that they're making next. And I've played Pillars of Eternity, I think, is the other one I've been playing, which is it's a CRPG. It's kind of like Baldur's Gate, but it's made by Obsidian. A lot of it's voice acted. Like Matthew Mercer, the guy who did McCree. He plays 2 characters in Pillars. The second game is coming out, I think, on the same day Warmind comes out. And I play, and other than video games, like, I play D&D every weekend. So. Nice. I actually really like playing D&D.
What's your class?
In D&D?
Yeah.
Right now I'm playing a warlock, but I prefer playing a monk.
What's your patron for your warlock?
It's a great old one. My particular patron is a kraken. Okay. And so my character has it's sort of a mix of, like, a hexblade and Pact of the Blade, where I don't really use spells so much. I sort of augment my combat abilities, and my character uses a whip. And it's made of anchor chains because his background is a sailor.
Okay. I just got picked up in a group with the Just Some Guardians podcast guys since I've been out hurt, and I mean, I have to thank Converse and you, Des, for saying, hey, give 5e a try. Because I am a Pathfinder fan, the Pathfinder game setting, and I just, thanks to, like I said, thanks to Des and Converse for just saying, here's how you can get the player's handbook. You should probably read it and see how easy it is. Like the classes, I'm like, oh man, okay, cool. And then, Hat Trick called me up and said, hey, you want to jump in while you're hurt and kind of do, like, what Critical Role does, with how Matthew Mercer will just call somebody to the table. That's basically what I'm doing. I'm doing a pop-in until I go back to work. And then he was like, well, what are you going to do? And then I was like, I need help. And I mean, that's something great about the RPG community, the Dungeons & Dragons, the D&D community, that they're always there to help. And I am playing an Azamir Paladin of Conquest.
Okay.
Which is super fun because I haven't played D&D since 3rd edition, so
it's very different now.
Oh, it's super different. Yeah, no skill points. I'm like, oh, that's new. What about feats? You take feats when you level up. Oh, so you don't get a feat? Okay, cool. Okay, yeah, but it's fun, and it's Oh yeah,
that's right, Azamir. Okay.
Yeah, And it fits in the story because the DM was like, since you're doing a pop-in, I need an easy way to get you out. Not just, you wake up one day and he's gone. So
yeah.
That's one of the fun bits. So, so Des, man, what are you playing?
Honestly, I've been playing like a crap ton of Destiny, really. Like here recently. I mean, it's just I haven't really had time like away from it here as of late. Like, well, yeah. Also thanks to DFA and freaking Duty Bound and freaking thanks Bungie for these grinds. Which legitimately. But yeah, I mean, I don't know because I mean, here's your warning. But I've been hopping on to Paladins every now and again. Considering OB70 hit consoles and a lot of things changed, so I've been doing like, other than Destiny, I've been doing some dailies there. That's about it.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting May 8th.
I know, right?
Because here's your warning again, Paladins is finally out of beta. Thankfully. I mean, I've been playing, like I said, a lot of D2. Keem, who do you main in Overwatch?
Sombra.
Interesting choice.
I really like Sombra.
Yes.
But I mostly play supports because no one wants to play support. And back when I was a kid, I played a lot of TF2 and I played medic.
Yeah.
So I can play pretty much any support. I like all the supports; they're fun. I haven't got a chance to play Brigitte, but we'll probably give her a try here when I do my placements.
See, it's funny. As much as I'm like, oh, I don't play Overwatch, but I play Paladins, and I can pretty much line up who each person plays. Like how you said Sombra, I'm thinking Strix does.
Sombra is
more like Kinessa.
tougher to... Actually, I think Sombra's closest equivalent is Talus.
Talus, okay. And, I mean, I've been playing that. That battle pass looks really interesting. And, if you log in before tomorrow, you get 200 free crystals. Because
it really is.
Which is cool. Thank you for that. Give me my battle pass for free. Yeah, a lot of D2. I played maybe an hour of Sea of Thieves. And then as I was playing, I was like, I could be doing Duty Bound right now. And I just turned it off and hopped right back on Duty Bound. Yeah, other than that, I mean, I'm ready for May 8th to come. Because that will be
where the grind begins anew.
Yeah. I wish you luck in the grind to come.
Because I keep hearing people talking about like just these little comments that I have to, it's like, oh yeah, right now, have all the exotics in the game. It's like for another 4 days.
Yeah. I have everything I want till Tuesday.
Yeah, everything's up at 3:35 for another 4 days until it doesn't matter anymore. It's like, well, actually 3 days by now.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Yeah, buddy.
But yeah, it's going to be crazy. Because that means it's 3 days until I'm going to have to be juggling again. Because I'm going to have to juggle playtime, which is going to be very nice, and updating the spreadsheets with the new weapons, whatever the API will let me get into.
Well, at least we'll have private matches, so you can definitely get the numbers dead on, right?
Oh, I don't even... Like, for those that keep up with the Featherstone, I don't even... Anymore, I don't even pretend to go after the TTK stuff. Mercules does an incredible job with it. And, like I said, in Featherstone, like, in the beginning, there's just a straight-out link to Mercules' TTK spreadsheet there. So it's like, you want that information? He does a magnificent job without private matches to keep up with those damage numbers. I'm going to let him have it. Mm-hmm. It's like, I'll still keep track of sources and perk lists and stat tracking and crap like that. But yeah, as far as TTK numbers go, you can have it. It's like, that's all you, buddy.
Any shows or any movies you guys have seen recently that you want to talk about?
Go see A Quiet Place.
Yes, I agree with you 100%.
I haven't seen Infinity War, but I already got spoiled for me, so I don't really care. It's a superhero movie. Superhero things happen.
Yeah, exactly.
The one thing I don't understand about Infinity War, I'm not going to spoil anything, but the one thing I don't understand is it's billed as a two-parter, but people that watch the first one that say they don't like it are like, I didn't like it as a movie. It's like, but it's two parts. It's like saying, I went to go see the last Harry Potter movie, the first part. I don't like that movie, but it's two parts. Like, you got to watch the whole thing.
Yeah.
It's just like there's so much that isn't there because it was split in half.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, why not just wait? Be like, all right, like the first half ended on a cliffhanger or whatever. I wonder what's going to happen in the second half. Not less like, I hate it because XYZ.
Yeah, I mean, and interestingly, like I said, at least for like billing, like they're kind of moving away from like the whole two-parter thing because when they first announced it, they definitely announced it as like, oh, here's Infinity War Part 1 and Part 2 a year later. Or a couple years later, or something like that. Anyway,
It's a year.
But yeah, and now more so, they're not... Like I said, I haven't seen it, and they've somehow dodged spoilers, but it's a superhero movie, so while I don't want to be spoiled at the same time, I mean, being a comic book nerd, I'm probably going to at least guess what happens at least halfway through the movie anyway. But yeah, I mean, like I said, they're at least like shying away from exactly billing it as a direct, two-parter at least. Since, especially now that they're actually calling the next one right now Avengers 4 rather than Part 2.
Yeah, it's not Infinity War Part 2. I've seen it, and I am one of the ones that didn't like it. I didn't like... Okay.
Doctor.
As a movie, I liked it. I'm not going to spoil it. As a movie, I liked it. Like, as a comic book movie, as an action movie, it checks all the boxes. I just didn't like the direction they took it.
That's fair. Because also at the same time, they also started, at least with this one, it's a brand new director.
Yeah.
Because Whedon took the first two Avengers movies, and this is a brand new director with possibly a different vision. Well, he's not brand new. He's done the Captain America movies. At least Winter Soldier and I believe Civil War.
I thought he also did Ragnarok. I might be wrong.
Cannot remember. Actually, I still haven't seen that one either.
That's a good one. Yeah, I wasn't going to spoil it, Des. I know. I know the rules.
Oh, no, like I said, it's a comic book movie. I just have to live with the fact that, you know what? Like I said, I'm pretty much going to know what's going to happen.
I mean, if you read the books, you know what happens.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I did see on Twitter, I think it was Cyborg that made mention or retweeted something. It's like, well, if you have all the Infinity Stones, why not just like double everyone's resources rather than taking out, half the universe? It's like, that's not... You're trying to apply logic to a being of such power that is literally trying to marry death. That's not figuratively.
Nope.
In the comics, he is literally courting the embodiment of death. And you're going to want to try to apply logic to him? Come on. It's like he has like a direct sightline of wanting to destroy half the universe, just at the very least trying to impress the chick that's going to benefit from all the souls he's making.
Well, that's also in the books. The movie goes a different direction, but...
Oh, for sure. I mean, but every comic book nerd has to hit that wall at some point in time. And it's like... Because it happened with me... I can't even remember exactly when. But, when... These movies were starting to become, like X-Men was coming out and all this, that, and the other, and then X-Men 3 happened. But yeah, I mean, it's the thing. It's like you have to let the nerd go when watching movies because, I mean, if you want to experience the quote-unquote great original story, read the comic book. They're available. Marvel has digital apps and like a huge library of all their old stuff. If you really want to see that original story, read it. There's a bunch of omnibuses and collections and crap digitally that you can carry that crap with you. So, I mean, it just comes down to it's an interesting retelling and rediscovery of characters. It's like a Spider-Man Homecoming was a great retelling of the Spider-Man origin story. And it made sense for the universe it was in. See ya.
Yeah. Keen, what did you think of Quiet Place?
I loved it. I thought it was great. My wife thought it was a little short, but I thought that it needed to be short. It was very, the whole story was very concise.
Mm-hmm.
And, I mean, the acting in it was phenomenal, and it was interesting you could hear everyone eating in the in the theater because of how quiet it was.
I thought that was interesting, too, when I went to go see it. And, I mean, yeah, the acting is phenomenal. I mean, the John Krasinski, however you want to say it, for his first time directing, and I think he also wrote or produced, one of the two. I mean, as of right now, it's my top movie of the year. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I mean, it wasn't horror as much as it's a thriller.
Yeah.
But,
yeah.
I mean, there was some horrific moments. And I mean, when you heard someone crunch in the theater and you're like, I've never heard a theater this quiet. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I have never heard a theater that quiet either.
And I mean, one of the parts that, not spoiling, but when you hear someone go, don't do that, you know they're engaged, and you're like, man, this is engaging.
Yeah.
It
was a good watch. I was definitely I got my money's worth out of it, even though it was so short.
Yeah.
Because it was it was like an hour 10 or something, hour 15.
Yeah.
But it wraps up nice and neat.
It does. It also leaves an opening if he wanted to make a continuation. I don't think he should. I mean,
I don't think there would be. I just think I think that the art of the open ending is kind of lost nowadays because they just close it later on with a sequel.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I miss the days where it's there's a nice neat ending where it's just and that's the end, and then you the rest is left to your imagination.
Thin.
Yeah. Now it's we have to make a sequel. Now we made all this money.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I could go see it again. And that's how I judge a movie. Would I go see it again? Or would I buy it when it comes out? On digital or DVDs. Kids, remember, sometimes a movie comes out on these discs called DVDs.
Blu-ray, you scrub.
Yeah, whatever. Same thing. It's a disc. I've gotten back into Black Sails on Stars. Because, I mean, pirates, and I've been playing pirate games. So I started watching it season 1. Now I'm back into it. I'm at started season 2 now. That and Into the Badlands. I fucking love that show. And Alton Brown's rebooting Good Eats. You're welcome, world.
Which I'm surprised he kind of went nuts about that because, I mean, Alton Brown himself hinted at that a year ago on Twitter.
Yeah, but he confirmed it's coming out soon when I dropped that because it was on he was on Hot Ones recently.
Yeah, I saw it.
Yeah. Great
That
episode.
was a good Hot One.
That was a great Hot Ones.
It was hilarious.
It was Alton Brown. I didn't realize until halfway through that he was rearranging the bottles.
Oh yeah.
In his
own personal scaling, of flavor and such. Also, actually, I learned a lot about Alton Brown and that I didn't quite know before. Like the fact that he was a music video director.
Yeah, did REM stuff.
Yeah,
and I was like, huh.
He's had a storied career.
Yeah, I mean it's super cool. I mean the fact that it's kind of a testament to whatever you want to be good at, whatever you can do, or whatever you're into. I guess it's not too late to give it a shot and go for it.
There's always a spot.
considering how like influential and famous he has become, like in in that whole community.
I mean, I've never clicked on a video so fast.
Oh, I know, right? Yeah, I saw that and was like, oh, yes.
Like, I brought up YouTube and I was like, poof. Like, my finger reacted before I even, like, I think before my brain registered, my finger was like, yes, you're just going to watch that. Just take it right now.
Yeah, like, when, Gabriel Iglesias was on, that actually sparked me to rewatch a bunch of his comedy specials, but, which he is, like, one of my favorite comedians by far. My God. His newer special on Netflix, Sorry for What I Said When I Was Hungry, I believe. Mm-hmm. That had me in tears for so long. I laughed like through 90% of that, the whole special, and it is amazing. I love him as a comedian. But yeah.
So, Keen, we're gonna let you go. I see we're at 2 hours and 36 minutes, and I know it's early for you, and you have a wife and a house that you're trying to keep happy and.
Yeah, I got yard work to do today.
Yeah.
It's nice outside.
I just had to have mine done, which made me feel super terrible about myself. Because, shoulder injury, can't push a lawnmower. So, for everybody who doesn't know, let everybody know where they can find you and maybe find Crucible Boot Camp when it comes out.
Yeah, when Crucible Boot Camp comes out, it'll be on YouTube. I have a channel under King Koala. You can find it on my website, cruciblebootcamp.com. You can find me on Twitter at King Koala. When I do stream on the weekend, it'll be twitch.tv/King Koala. And then if you ever want to submit your own gameplay to me for an episode, or if I have time to give you back a short blurb on your submission, you can always send it to keen@cruciblebootcamp.com. I'm pretty good about getting back to people with those, so yeah, feel free.
Go ahead, Des.
Very nice. This boy Raven. As always, you can find me on Twitter at DES_Raven. You can find me on PS4, DS Raven. No space, underscores,
I guess that's my turn now.
Yeah.
Okay. You can find me, Buster Knuckle, at BusterKnuckle13 on Twitter and also on Xbox. That is the same way to do it. Buster Knuckle 13. You can find me on PSN at BlisterLister113. I know, terrible. You can find this podcast, the RNGCast, at the RNGCast on Twitter. You can email us, the RNGcast@gmail.com. You can join our Discord. We have a Discord link pinned to the top of our Twitter. I believe it's fixed now, considering we've had some people join in. Yeah, we have a Patreon. If you want to hear Des and I talk about terrible movies, that's what we're doing for our Patreon exclusive episodes. We've done 2 last month, and we will do 2 every month. That is our promise and goal. Once again, if you want to join that, it's patreon.com/the RNGcast. At any level, you will get those as our thank you to you for helping us put this show together. And that being said,
go ahead.
Also,
I would be remiss if I did not say go and try and track down like the old Crucible Book Club and stuff that Kane has done on the Reddits and such. Still probably incredible reads and such. Because like I said, Crucible Boot Camp is a great help, but like those posts were definitely like what got me into a different mindset about improvement for sure. Like all through like getting back into shooters. So still probably great reads and such. So track those down, give them a read. Read, you lazy bums. Yeah.
That being said, this is episode 102 of the RNGcast. We're out.
Later, man.
Bye.
See you all next week.